Jolton got a crash 24 westbound near the Cheatham-Davidson County line. And Antioch got a crash on the right shoulder 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. South Nashville, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. On the South Loop, a crash reported by police 40 eastbound after 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's our day, number 799. What kind of grade do we get? Let's find out together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN as we enter into this Tuesday, April 29, 2025. Happy to have you with us. Thank you for being around. Whatever time you're able to give us, we are certainly appreciative of it. We're on a variety of different platforms. We love to tell you about those. We're obviously on the FM dial, 99.7 FM. You can also find us on the app, our app. If you go to your app store and you type in Super Talk 99.7 WTN, you'll see our app pop up, and you download that, and then you can take us wherever you go, and you can listen to Dan Mandis in the morning with Nashville's Morning News, Chris Hand, Chad Benson, Matt Murphy, Mark Levin, and all the rest of the crew. Red Eye Radio overnight, all the rest of the crew where you find mostly live and local conversation happening on a daily basis on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can also find us on Spotify, iHeart, all the rest of these platforms. We're there. And then there's Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I like to remind you on a daily basis, although some days I forget, that there is a sum associated with liking and subscribing on Talk Television. Ken Weaver normally has that rate card for us, and I believe Mr. Weaver's back in the newsroom. He's in News Closet B. He gathers headlines on a regular basis, and he also lets us know how much does it cost to like and subscribe, Weaver?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yes.
Absolutely nothing. That's what the man said. Chris Weber's, before we get to him, in I don't know what that means. I'm in a mood. This is going to be an interesting show.
I can't wait.
I'm in something of a mood.
You
Chris
got your
Weber's
Al
back
Borland
there.
shirt on today.
Do I now?
Your Al Borland shirt?
Is that, hold on. I'll get it. That Tool Time?
Yeah, that's
That
it.
Home Improvement?
I don't think so, Tim.
Is that what this is? I
Kinda.
don't think I've ever worn this shirt.
Yeah. I think he always wore like a red
the-
plaid.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like it. Yeah. It's all big and baggy now, which I dig. I was about to put it in the giveaway bin, and then I put it on, and it was so big and baggy. It's like, ooh, it makes me feel smaller.
Yeah, I like those shirts.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I love those.
I gotta have a lot of room for my sides to move around.
Did I hear you correctly earlier today, Mr. Ken Weaver?
Yeah.
That you have lost in total almost 50 pounds?
Yes, sir.
Wow. You look great.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I don't normally make it a study. You know, I don't normally take a long, lingering look, but I made a point to do that when I saw you today because I had heard.
It's kind of weird.
You know, I don't like to linger. I just like to move on. But I lingered today, Ken, and you look great.
You took it all in.
I let it wash over me.
Thank you, Brother Murphy.
Like a warm bath.
Yeah, I mean, when you drink about a case of beer a weekend and then you have hernia surgery, you start making some changes.
Some life choices.
Yes, sir.
It's all about life choices.
I sure do like that beer.
I do, too. I mean, what kind of beer are we talking about? What, you still drinking?
Yeah, I still imbibe.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think so. That's you still drink it.
I just don't drink a case. You know,
Well, I get it.
I have 2 or 3, and then I'm good.
Yeah. I remember a story that, and I used to like Stephen King a lot before he just went off the reservation. I don't care for him very much anymore. But he told a story about his drinking and cocaine days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That he was drinking a case of beer a day.
Wow.
A day?
A day? Tall boys?
Ooh.
Boy.
But he said, but in between like every 4th or 5th one, He was snorting a line.
Do a little bump, huh?
And do a little bump.
Man.
And he said, and he's telling the story, he's, kind of ashamed of the whole thing. He said, he wrote this, and he wrote a book called On Writing, which was kind of a biography. And he said, this was back in the 1980s. He said, I recently pulled Cujo off the shelves, and I wrote Cujo during this time, and I read some of Cujo, and it's really, really good. I wish I remembered writing it. He said he doesn't. He said legit does not remember. Anyway, so yeah, it can get away from you.
It can, dude.
Oh, but you look great.
Well, thank you.
Walking every day?
I walk every day by about 45 minutes.
How did your schedule change? You've been doing this now. I mean, it's almost are we going on a year?
It'll be a year in October.
How did the walking schedule? I mean, obviously, I guess, did it flip?
No, it's in the morning now.
Yeah.
Whereas it was in the afternoon, and I really liked it in the afternoon, especially whenever it was 100 degrees.
Oh yeah, you got to own that heat.
Because I like that heat.
Just own it. Just it's like you're in a warm bath.
As long as, and I've said this, I love heat and humidity, but I want to be able to get out of it and do some air conditioning. Otherwise, I may not like it as much.
And when I was growing up, there was no escape. When I remember,
you weren't allowed.
No, I remember when I was a kid. I mean, I remember when my grandpa put in the wall AC in the dining room.
Oh wow!
Before then, it was windows up and fans, and we had a ceiling fan that would suck in you raise all the windows and it would suck the air through the house.
Yeah.
Which was awesome in the spring and fall. It was not awesome in the summer because it was just sucking 98-degree air in the house.
Yes.
But I remember I remember as a kid, I was probably like 6 years old when this happened, when we got the AC unit in the dining room, and he cut a hole in the wall and mounted it into the wall. Oh boy, it's a big day.
You just stood in front of it and went,
oh gosh. And then the biggest moment was when they put a second unit in the guest room because my grandparents didn't want to be too cold, and that was my room. And so my room was like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
You're under blankets in August. Oh, so good. So good. Anyway, anything to avoid. I'm willing to talk about this all day to avoid talking about Donald Trump's first 100 days.
Oh, is that happening? I missed it. Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but Donald Trump's been serving in his second term as president of the United States of America for 100 days. We've been counting him up for a while. We've been counting the days up because it drives the liberals insane because it's 100 of 1,460. So we're not even a tenth of the way there during the second term yet, folks. But the mainstream media, boy, oh boy, they want you to know that over the first 100 days, Donald Trump has done this and Donald Trump hasn't done that. And first 100 days, and here's what he has accomplished, and here's what he's not accomplished. Promises made, promises kept. Promises made, promises broken, they say. Story after story. I got one from Politico. I got one from National Review. I got one from CBS News. I got them all pulled up. 100 days, for Trump's first 100 days, the broad scope of the administration's approach to presidential power. First one, Franklin Delano Roosevelt did this, Donald Trump did that. This president did this, Donald Trump did that. Let's grade him, they say. Donald Trump gets an incomplete. You know why? Because his presidency is incomplete. Donald Trump has accomplished many great things. Donald Trump has not accomplished some things. Donald Trump is only one part of government. Believe it or not, Donald Trump can't do everything himself. And so we're not going to harp on and belabor, and I'm not knocking anybody that died. I'm not knocking it. I've heard it. I've heard it all day today. Not from I'm not slamming on Benson or Hand or Man. I'm not doing all that. These are friends. I love those guys. But I give him a B- for this, and what are we even doing? By the way, who gives a crap what your grade is? Nobody. Nobody gives a crap what my grade is either. You know what matters? And some of this is positive, and some of this is negative. You know what matters? Do you feel safer in your home? I mean, is that safety due to local efforts, to statewide efforts, to national efforts? Do you feel like the border's more secure? Do you feel like we're moving in the right direction when it comes to economic policy? Do you have more money in your wallet? Do you have more money in your 401k? You probably don't have more money in your 401k right now. And maybe that's concerning you. And maybe we are left to hope those that are predisposed to like Donald Trump, those of us who voted for Donald Trump, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt until it's time not to give him the benefit of the doubt. And so those predisposed to like the guy are going to give him a pass on where we are from an economic standpoint because it's in the middle. And we're not going to what was the old saying? Don't change horses in the middle of the stream, right? You got to go with it. You got to go with it. So all of this grading nonsense is just, and to me, it's just that. Nonsense. That said, we got a big show for you. We've got Jason Weekly, who is the chairman of the Nashville GOP, the Davidson County GOP, I should say it more properly. Davidson County Republican Party will be along in the 4 o'clock hour to discuss with us the goings-on of the current mayoral administration and what we expect coming up on Thursday. Before then, though, 3:35, Congressman David Kustoff. Congressman Kustoff back with us from the 8th Congressional District.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What you going to talk about with him?
We're going to talk about the first 100 days, Chris. First 100 days of Trump's presidency. Nice. We're going to break it down. And you know what I might ask him?
What he grades it as?
I'm going to ask him what his grade is.
I got a big old press release here from John Rose.
Oh, what is John? Oh, I bet John's got a grade for him.
U.S. Representative John Rose released a statement on 100th day of Trump administration.
I've got one from, let's see. I've got one from, look, here's one from Senator Tommy Tuberville, Ken.
Oh, okay. All right.
Guess what Tommy Tuberville gives Donald Trump for his first 100 days? Just take a wild guess what Senator Tommy Tuberville from the state of Alabama gives Donald Trump.
A+?
It's an A+, Ken. Believe it or how did you guess? How did you know? Look, I love our guy. I love our man.
Sure.
My love of our man is well established.
Sure.
I'm going to give our man the benefit of the doubt because it's an incomplete.
Yes, sir.
But my goodness. Hey, guess what the Democrats are giving Donald Trump in his first 100 days, King? Take a wild guess what Chuck Schumer, what grade he got from Chucky.
All right, I'm going to dig deep here. An F.
It's an F. You looked. Did you look?
I didn't. I promise. You didn't hear my keys clicking.
You didn't look, did you?
I didn't.
It's an F. Imagine that. It's almost as if we could have done this day one. I guarantee you we could have done this day one. All right. By the way, I'm taking umbrage with Benson. Did Chad Benson seem distracted today, y'all?
I don't know.
There's soccer on the damn TV.
Oh.
What is there soccer on the TV for?
Football.
Yeah, that's what I'll get in trouble if Benson hears me call it soccer. I don't know. I'm just gonna claim that that's happenstance. That the soccer guy, that was just so happened there was soccer on the TV during the soccer guy show.
Yeah, just a coincidence.
I didn't think you guys could change the channel in there.
I mean, we can change it, but a lot of times we just don't get it.
There's some hosts that just don't know how to change the channel.
That's true. I forget. I forget.
They're a little challenge.
The world has changed since Nashville's morning news. Speaking of, God, I love him so much. Speaking of, I did this at the end of the show yesterday, but I want to do it for those who missed it because I know some of you get home. I understand how it goes. You get out of your automobile at 6:15, 6:20, and maybe you don't catch the very end of the show. But I wanted to, speaking of our good friend and host of Nashville's Morning News, Dan Mandis, I wanted to offer an official thanks. I hope that you're all watching on the Talk TV side of things because I did this last night. I'm going to do it again because Dan gave me a very lovely gift, and I wanted to publicly thank him for the very nice gift that he gave me. Now, suffice it to say that Dan justified the gift giving by saying he had way too many coffee mugs anyway, and he hated too many coffee mugs, and he was going to throw it away or whatever. So he decided to give it to me.
So he didn't buy it for you?
Oh, no. No, okay. Absolutely not. Gotcha. I think he's getting rid of things at his house, which is, that's still fine. He thought of me. But he gave me this lovely mug. Thank you, Dan Mandis.
They're pretty yellow.
Isn't that a nice mug?
Yeah, it is.
Isn't
very
that
nice.
lovely? And guess what? It's got on it. It's got a picture of Dan. Look at there, Ken. It's a picture. Look, is Dan? He's wearing his little ball cap. He doesn't have his glasses on either. It must be a recent photo
Yeah.
of Dan.
Very nice.
He looks. There he is.
You'll think of him every time.
I
you pick
will.
it up.
I'll sit and say thanks, Dan.
What is that, a little penguin?
That's a little. That's a little beaver.
Oh,
That's Bucky.
That's Bucky the beaver.
oh, it's a bucket.
So this was. I don't know how early this was when I got here, but I remember it was the first. I was comfortable enough with Mandis to pick on him pretty hard about it because Dan called Bucky's a truck stop.
Oh.
He's like, well, I'm going to go to the truck stop. It's a truck stop, right? It's a truck stop. And it's not, it's like, I'm not, he was like, oh, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It was like, but it's factually inaccurate. Like,
Yes.
the one thing Bucky's does not allow are trucks,
That's
big
correct.
trucks.
You couldn't fit him in there.
Well, they don't allow them. You're not allowed
They
to
have
bring
signs that say no semis.
No semis.
Right.
It's literally the opposite of a truck stop. It's a truck don't stop, is what it is. But Dan was like, it's a truck stop. It's a truck stop. And then he didn't understand why so many people were getting mad at him because he was calling it a truck stop. It's like, what? There's nothing wrong with a truck stop. It's like, it's not a truck stop.
Oh.
But he gave me this, which is very nice. And I do think that Bucky the Beaver has is a strike. If we give Dan one of these little hats with the cap, the bill flipped up on it, I think he'd look just like old Bucky Beaver. So, thank you.
Beaver.
That's him, Bucky Beaver. Yeah, most times you go over there and there's Bucky's there.
He's walking around.
I mean, on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to a Bucky's there, Weaver?
I have one over there in is it Crossville, I think?
Yep.
On the
yeah.
way to Knoxville.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to that one.
It was like an acid trip.
It is.
I mean, there's like 1,000 people. But you know what I did like about it?
It was like an acid. It is like an acid trip.
You don't have to wait to go to the bathroom.
No.
They got plenty of stalls.
It is the oddest experience that when you drive up to it for the first time, and maybe for the first few times, you think this is going to take a frack an hour.
Yep.
So,
And if you want it to take an hour, it can.
sure. There's lots to do.
But I'll tell you this, it's just as quick to go to the Buc-ee's, get gas, and go to the bathroom as it is any other gas station in America.
It is.
Because they have so many pumps
Right.
Yep.
and so many bathroom stalls.
Yep.
I do say that it's a little weird, and I'm not knocking y'all. Y'all call yourselves the cleanest bathrooms on face of the earth, and I get it. But if I've got to go do certain business, just let me get out of there before you go into the thing to clean it. You know what I mean?
They are kind of waiting for you sometimes.
I mean, right. They're Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that in Buc-ee's, if you've never been in one, the commodes are like little rooms.
Yeah, it's like a true water closet.
Yeah, I mean, it is a floor to ceiling water. That's a great way to put it, Chris. It's a water closet. So you have ultimate privacy.
Oh,
the
yes,
only thing you've got is a little gap in the bottom, and I suppose that's if somebody dies in there, they got to get in there somehow.
Yeah.
I would imagine. But man, as soon as you get out of there, I mean, you take 2 steps and there's somebody coming in behind you, and I'm like, yeah, you might want to give it a.
I think that guy's probably used to it though. Right? You know, he smelt it all.
I didn't notice that on my trip there, man.
And you want to say it was the last guy that was in there, but they know that's not true because they cleaned it since the last guy's been in there.
Man, when we stopped that day, there must have been 4 charter buses. There was apparently some sort of soccer tournament going on.
Oh, wow.
Because there were just these kids in soccer uniforms everywhere.
All of them want some fudge.
Yes.
Every single one of them. Some fudge and a brisket sandwich.
Oh,
Brisket's
good stuff.
I mean, look, brisket on the board. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking any of it. All right, we'll get into some particular content. Well, I suppose we'll talk about the first 100 days. Y'all want to grade them? You want to give them a grade? I'm gonna give a grade of on Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give my grades in a moment on the first 100 days. 25 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Roll Call 3.0 is coming to Nashville this weekend. Very exciting. Friday and Saturday, hosted by Jason Whitlock, featuring Tucker Carlson, music by Randy Houser, comedy by Steve Byrne. That's all kicking off Friday, May 2nd. It's a VIP evening at 3rd and Lindsley. Yours truly will broadcast live until 7 o'clock. The events kick off at 7 with a conversation with Tucker, Jason, and that music from Houser and comedy from Byrne. Saturday, May 3rd, it's the big event, moving to Rocketown for a full day of inspiration, insight, and high-impact speakers, including Alan Jackson of World Outreach Church, Idaho's Doug Wilson, and Chicago's Corey Brooks. Roll Call 3.0 is all about faith, fellowship, and fearless conversation. Go to fearlessrollcall.com and grab your tickets today. Don't wait, because we expect this event to sell out. That's fearlessrollcall.com for more information and for tickets to Roll Call 3.0.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And we're learning more about that double homicide in Donaldson under investigation now, not just by Metro Police, but you got state investigations and federal investigators on this thing. Two men found shot to death on a walking trail yesterday. One of the men identified as 19-year-old Amir Landon Wilkerson of Alabaster, Alabama, just south of Birmingham. He was last seen by his family in Alabaster on Sunday, then found dead yesterday. Police say they're working to identify the second murder victim. There were reports today that Amazon was planning to display tariff costs on products listed on its main website. Got lots of attention, but Amazon says it wasn't going to happen.
Contrary to reports and contrary to the angry backlash from the White House, Amazon says it has never considered showing tariff upcharges on its main Amazon website and that nothing of the sort has been implemented. There were some talks at its ultra-low-cost website called Amazon Haul, which is more like Temu, but Amazon says showing the charges was never approved and is not going to be implemented.
Yeah, the Trump administration is easing up on tariffs on automakers so they're not hit twice. That 25% on car parts and 25% on steel and aluminum. The automakers still have to pay the tariff on imported vehicles and auto parts, but they don't have to pay the steel and aluminum tariff. And the company's shareholders like it. Its workers do not. ABC's Jim Ryan says UPS has announced sweeping layoffs before the end of the year.
As goes Amazon, so goes UPS. The package delivery company's biggest customer is the world's largest online retailer. And as consumers back down some of their spending at Amazon, UPS is paying the price. Or more accurately, 20,000 of its workers are. That's how many positions UPS plans to eliminate by Christmas.
That's Jim Ryan reporting, and the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Jolton got a crash 24 westbound near the Cheatham-Davidson County line. Antioch, police say there's a crash on the right shoulder 24 westbound near Hickory Hollow Parkway. Police say there's a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. And on the South Loop, police say there's a crash right lane block 40 eastbound right there at the 2440 split. West Nashville got a crash reported 40 westbound past I-440. And then in Bellevue, a crash 40 westbound there at exit 196. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Y'all make sure your windows are up. Everybody's windows up? Everybody's windows up in the parking lot?
Yes,
Good,
sir.
Good. Make
Yes,
sure those windows up. My windows were not up yesterday. They are up today. I'll tell you what, you also need to make sure you need to get to Genesis Diamonds before Mother's Day. Mother's Day is on the way, and Genesis has put together an incredible selection of Mother's Day gifts that are both affordable and stylish. Layered necklaces, stackable rings, eternity bands, colored gemstone pieces, heirloom quality jewelry, diamond bracelets, and earrings, just to name a few of the pieces and styles that they have available at Genesis Diamonds. These are pieces of jewelry she can wear anywhere, anytime, from Target to the theater. She can enjoy them for years to come. Now, Mama loves you, and you love Mama. You need to give Mama something nice for Mother's Day. Whether it's her first Mother's Day, brand new Mother's, you got to get her something, guys, or it's her 60th Mother's Day. Mom deserves a gift that is anything but ordinary, and you get that gift from Genesis Diamonds. Their non-commissioned experts can help you pick out the right and perfect gift for you and help you stay in budget. They're going to work within your budget. No matter what it is, they can find something special for you and Mama for Mother's Day. Celebrate Mother's Day with Genesis Diamonds. They also have luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills, and Cool Springs. For Mother's Day or any occasion, it's Genesis Diamonds. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we will turn our attention to local matters. Davidson County, really all of Metro Nashville, need to be paying attention to Mayor Freddie O'Connell as he delivers a State of the Metro address at the Nashville Public Library this Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. We plan on gathering, and when I say we, I mean conservative and libertarian-minded people who are concerned about the state of the Metro are planning on gathering at 9 o'clock in the morning in front of the Nashville Public Library on Church Street to express our displeasure with the concept of increased taxation. We will talk about that in the 4 o'clock hour coming up with our good friend of the show, Jason Weekly, who is the chairman of the Davidson County GOP. Right now, we turn our attention to the Murphy Show hotline, where David Kustoff awaits. He is congressman of the 8th Congressional District in the state of Tennessee, and he's always gracious with his time. David, first off, before we get into all of the matters involving D.C. and your district and the entire state of Tennessee, I want to say a sincere thank you, Congressman. You serve the District 8, and for the most part, we don't quite reach your district, but you are so available to us in Middle Tennessee, talking about what your efforts are in Washington, D.C., what you're trying to do for your constituencies, but by extension, the entire state of Tennessee. And I just want you to know that I appreciate that.
Well, Matt, thank you very much. First of all, it's an honor to get to do the job that I do. I realize I'm one out of 435. Tennessee has 9 congressmen. But, I've got a voice, and I've got a vote. And obviously, I want to represent the interest of the people that I represent in the 8th Congressional District, but also everybody in Tennessee and everybody who's like-minded around the country. And I've got to tell you, maybe I'm over-answering what you just said, but every day I walk in here, I walk into the Capitol where I am right now, I have the same feeling that I had the very first day I came in. And probably the same feeling you would have if you were here right now. I mean, this is the greatest country on the face of the earth. But we can never, ever, ever stop fighting for our freedoms and our values. And so I'll keep doing that each and every day I've got this job.
I didn't want to interrupt you because it was such a great answer, but when you said it's probably the same feeling that you would have if you were here, I was angry? I'd be angry. I'd be very.
Well, you know what? I get that, but I look at it this way. I get to serve right now, and I'm biased. I'm a Republican. I get to serve with a Republican president, a majority Republican in the House of Representatives, not by much, but a majority, Republican majority in the United States Senate. We can really get some things done. A lot like President Trump has in these first 100 days, and that's really what I'm focused on for these 2 years.
Well, I want to talk about his 100 days, but I want to focus on what you just said for just a moment, because I'm left with, when I'm talking to Congressman David Kustoff, or maybe I'm talking to Congressman John Rose, or Tim Burchett, or Scott Desjardins, or whomever it might be, and I always find that I'm fussing at the good guys, right? But I don't understand what takes so long. Today, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said that they are extending what they consider their target date for a vote on the big, beautiful bill that is the budget bill from Memorial Day, which last I checked is a month away, to the 4th of July. And I understand things work different, David, and I'm not fussing at you necessarily, but help me understand what takes so long.
Well, now, unless he changed from what he said this morning, I think what he said was that he thinks that there'll be a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives on this one big, beautiful bill, the reconciliation bill, by Memorial Day, and he wants to obviously it starts in the House of Representatives. It'll then go to the Senate. I think the goal is to try to have it on President Trump's desk by July 4th. Unless he said something differently after he talked to the Republican congressman at 9 o'clock this morning.
All right, maybe I misunderstood. It might be me, David. So
well, no. I think the plan right now is for us to vote in the House of Representatives on this big bill by Memorial Day. Obviously, it's got to go through its procedure and machinations in the Senate, and to get it on President Trump's desk for his signature by July 4th or by this summer.
So tell me, before we grade our chief executive, and I feel like the House of Representatives perhaps is seeing a little more action than the United States Senate, but how would you grade the Congress's first 100 days of Trump's presidency? And help us as Tennesseans understand what at least the House has gotten done. I know you can't control the Senate. You were one of 435, as you mentioned, in the House, but what are a few of the things that you point to that you're proud of that the House has been able to get done?
So there are a number of things working up to the one big beautiful bill. The very first bill that President Trump signed was the Lake and Riley Act, and we all remember what happened with Lake and Riley. Tragic, ties back obviously to illegal immigration. We passed that bill early in January so that President Trump could sign that. I think that was the very first bill that he has signed. We have been working very diligently at trying to repeal a number of the Biden executive orders and executive actions that were taken in the last days of his presidency. And we can do that, Matt, under something called the Congressional Review Act. And without getting too wonky and in the weeds, when the president, in this case former President Biden, takes executive action and it's within a certain number of days, we can essentially Congress can repeal those actions by the Congressional Review Act, or by purview of the Congressional Review Act, and we've been doing that. In fact, we've got another one of those type of bills that we're going to be voting on after I finish my interview with you. But I think the big thing is we're getting ready. I don't know how many times I've used the term one big beautiful bill. We're getting ready for the one big beautiful bill that includes the tax part that I'm working on the Ways and Means Committee, the border security stuff that Congressman Mark Green is working on through Homeland Security, the energy policy that other committees are working on. All these things that Donald Trump campaigned on in 2024 are going to be up for a vote later in May, and we're building up to that through our committees right now, so that we can get this bill ready by Memorial Day.
For those who don't know, if someone came up to you and said, Congressman David Kustoff, when you say one big beautiful bill, what do you mean? Why does it have to be a quote-unquote reconciliation bill? Will you help folks understand that?
Yeah, so this is kind of wonky also. When we take a vote in the House of Representatives, if it passes by a majority vote, then it prevails. In the U.S. Senate, they've got something called cloture. And so with cloture, for most votes, not every, but most, it takes 60 votes to get it through the Senate. Now, you look at the math right now, in the House of Representatives, there are 220 Republicans, 218 is the majority. In the U.S. Senate, there are 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. 53 doesn't equal 60. So there's a process in the Senate that's called reconciliation. That essentially, Matt, gets you past the 60-vote threshold that they have in the Senate. But that vote has to be tied somehow back to the budget. Now, that's an oversimplification, but that's how it works. Since right now, politically, Republicans have the White House, Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Republicans have a majority in the Senate. Republicans have a majority in the House. We can use reconciliation to get our legislation enacted, but not have to deal with the 60 votes in the Senate, as long as what we are working on relates somehow back to the budget. So,
is this and when you say budget, you're talking about fiscal year 25-26?
I'm talking about a budget vote that we actually took, I don't know, maybe within the last 6 weeks. The Senate, as you remember, took the vote.
Is that for budget 24-25 or 25-26?
It's a budget for this upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, so 25, 26. Okay.
That actually extends out probably.
Because we did the CR to complete the budget year 24-25, right?
Well, so that's actually appropriations. So the budget and the appropriations are two different things. They're both related to the money and to how we want to expend money, but that continuing resolution vote actually approved all the dollars that would be spent through September of this year.
Right. So what I'm looking for, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is the big, beautiful bill. Is it going to include the Republican cuts in the federal budget as identified so much so by DOGE? Because the only thing that DOGE can do, in my estimation, is identify the waste and fraud and abuse. Congress has to act to cut it out. And is this what we're talking about moving forward?
In part. So part of the DOGE efforts will come after reconciliation. But in reconciliation, in this big, beautiful bill, how many times have I used that term?
I mean, no, it's fine. But my point is, David, and I don't mean to rush you, but if you set the budget through reconciliation, how are you going to then cut after the fact?
Well, so this reconciliation bill is identifying cuts, some of which DOGE has identified, some that are separate. But in the end, if we do it right, this will save the federal government funding. And I'll give you one example. In Medicaid, the House Energy and Commerce Committee has identified potential savings, not cuts, savings to Medicaid, maybe in the neighborhood of $500 billion to $800 billion. So it's possible that whatever that number is, that's going to be part of this reconciliation bill, and those are real savings. So that's one example. We're identifying savings in the Ways and Means Committee that are real. Now, I don't want to give the number yet because we're still working on it. But in the end, that'll save the federal government substantial dollars, billions of dollars, maybe even $1 trillion or more.
So, of all of the things we've seen out of the Trump administration, I think we covered Congress, but in the few minutes that we have left, Congressman, I mean, clearly for me, the work on immigration, border security and immigration are at the top of the list. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would expect that you would agree that there's been some great work done there. What else do you see in the first 100 days?
So President Trump has told us, I think he's told the nation, that in his opinion, he was elected on illegal immigration and border security, that was the top issue. I kind of thought it was the economy and inflation, but Matt, maybe that's 1A and 1B. So you look at these 100 days and what President Trump has done in terms of border security alone, and he gets a top grade. He gets an A. I look at the number of border crossings that have been we've seen since Trump has taken office, and there may be more people that have walked into the studios at WTN today than have tried to cross the border illegally. And I'm serious. I mean, the number of encounters at the southern border are down substantially, almost 99% from when Biden took office compared to a year ago, and even 3 and 4 years ago. And that was the main concern among Trump voters in the 2024 election.
So just because I'm being asked this, Congressman, by a couple of the listeners via our super text line, I want to reiterate it. You mentioned Laken Riley as a piece of legislation that you're proud of getting passed. Can you point to me a couple of other things that the Congress has gotten done since January? Yeah.
Well, again, we have enacted a number of bills under the Continuing Resolution Act, the CRA, to repeal some of the Biden initiatives that he took right before he left office in the last, 120 days that he was president. We voted on a number of energy policies to support President Trump in that initiative.
Have you passed them?
And we passed them in the House. Now, some have sat in the Senate, some have been enacted in the Senate, but the Senate moves slower than the House. And then you mentioned the passage of the continuing resolution. That was a big deal, Matt, because we actually saved money because we froze the spending, except for defense, but we froze the spending on everything else at the 2024 levels.
David, I promise I'm not fussing at you, but you mean the budget that overspent by almost $2 trillion, that one?
No, I'm talking about
the 24 budget didn't overspend by almost $2 trillion?
No, I'm talking about freezing the spending so that it didn't increase.
Right, keeping it at the levels, the 24 levels, which overspent by almost $2 trillion. I understand, but I mean, David, I'm not blaming you. I'm just trying to keep it real.
I don't think $2 trillion, but
it was almost $2 trillion of overspending in fiscal year 2024.
But Biden wanted to spend above that.
Look, I get it. I just, the people that I talk to are begging for more congressional action, and that's the message that I would leave you with. They are begging for it.
They will see. Well, the bottom line is, if we do our job on this big reconciliation bill, they are going to see significant savings in the tune of trillions.
I hope so,
and that will be significant. I think you'll see that out of the House. We'll see what happens when it goes to the Senate. But President Trump has charged us with those savings. We're going to do it. I've kind of hinted at what we're doing in the House Ways and Means Committee. I've identified some big savings that the House Energy and Commerce Committee has identified that they'll be voting on in the next week, and I think that'll be significant. Again, we all heard the cries from people when they went to go vote in November of 2024, and we all know what not only the deficit. You've talked about the deficit. I also look at the debt, and the debt is between $36 and $37 trillion dollars.
Well, Congressman, I once again, oftentimes when we talk, I'm fussing at Washington, not at you, but and you know how it goes. But I want to leave you with this in the minute that we have left. Tell me about the fish fry in Paris. I was jealous. I saw you. Yeah. I was jealous.
That is Paris, Tennessee. Henry County has the world's biggest fish fry, and so it's an honor for me to get to go almost every year. Some years we're here in Washington and voting, and so I don't get to go, but they estimated, Matt, that there were 43,000 people in Paris, Tennessee for the fish fry parade and for the luncheon later on. It's a big deal. You get to hear from people directly as they call into you and text into you and everything, and you're kind of on the front lines. Being able to be there in Paris, Tennessee with all those people allows me to do the same thing at street level and at face level. And that's invaluable because it tells me exactly what's on people's minds right there and then.
Well, I love the conversation. I love it, how willing you are and available you are with your time, Congressman. We appreciate you. We appreciate what you do for the 8th Congressional District, and we'll do it again next time. Take care.
Sounds real good. Thank you for having me on.
All right, absolutely. There's David Kustoff, 57 after the hour. Got to run. I don't know if J.K. Brister, Erica Brister, and the team at U.S. Pest can do anything about politicians in your house, but they can do something about pests. But I repeat myself. I'm talking about the real pests, like bugs and spiders and roaches and, ticks and fleas. I mean, these are all communists, right? And people laugh. They go, oh, Murphy calls bugs communists. They are communists. They come into your house. They want to steal your stuff. They want equity in how everything's appropriated. They want to live in a place that they don't pay for. They want to eat food that they didn't pay for. And they're gross. It's time to get rid of them. U.S. Pest will destroy these little communist bugs that come into your home and on your property, and all it takes is a telephone call. Whether it's complete pest control, full-service pest control, termite protection, or crawl-space service, U.S. Pest will handle it. Go to uspest.com. That's uspest.com. Tell them I sent you, or give them a call, 590-1260, 615-590-1260 for U.S. Pest.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee is under at least a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. And those north and along and north of I-40, that's a level 2 risk. Give you some more details during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Well, Harvard says it's going to make some changes after internal investigations into anti-Semitism and anti-Arab prejudice, the university says it conducted. Harvard releasing these reports while fighting the Trump administration over demands to limit campus activism and the loss of $2.2 billion in federal funding. Those changes include Harvard holding professors to new standards of what Harvard calls excellence after complaints of instruction becoming too politicized and anti-Israel. Deans at Harvard are now going to make sure faculty refrain from endorsing political positions. And Florida is set to become the second state to ban fluoride in public water. A bill banning the use of the mineral in public water passed the Florida House. Now it waits Governor DeSantis' signature. Utah was the first state to ban fluoride. And in Pennsylvania, a Pittsburgh mortuary owner is accused of dumping thousands of people's pets' remains in a landfill. Prosecutors say there could be more than 6,500 people who paid 70-year-old Patrick Roy Verub of Verub Funeral Home and Eternity Pet Memorial, only to have him throw their pets in a landfill. He is free on bond until his next scheduled court appearance on May 9th. And researchers at the Yale School of Public Health claim data shows life expectancy for women born in 2000 in some southern states has barely changed, despite advancements in medicine and improvements in health care. The bottom 5 states for life expectancy among women are Kentucky, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Mississippi, and Arkansas. It increased by only 2 years in Kentucky, 76 from 74. Southern men showed greater improvements in life expectancy than women in Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, West Virginia. It went from 63 years life expectancy to 73 here in Tennessee. And there are only 2 women living from the 855 who served in a black female World War II unit that will receive the Congressional Gold Medal today. House Speaker Mike Johnson and others will present the medal to the family of the unit commander at the time, Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early. The 6,888th Central Post Directory Battalion was sent overseas in 1945 and credited with solving a growing mail crisis, clearing out a backlog of about 17 million pieces of mail in 3 months, which was twice as fast as projected. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Jolton got a crash 24 westbound near the Cheatham-Davidson County line. South Loop, a crash 65 northbound right before I-40. Then you got a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. And now Rural Hill, a crash reported by police, Bell Road at Edgeoe Lake Drive. And in West Nashville, the Gore is blocked 40 westbound past I-440 by a crash. And I-40 westbound after Bellevue, exit 196, an accident on the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 8 minutes after 4 o'clock, and a good afternoon. Welcome one, welcome all. My name is Matt Murphy. This is hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, day 100 of the second term of Donald J. Trump. I don't know if you've heard that or not. It is also day 799 of our gathering together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Happy to have you with us this Tuesday. We've lots to get into. We have a lot of local stories that I want to tell you about this hour. We have a guest to talk about said same. But I want to real quick reflect on that conversation that I just had with David Kustoff. I hope that your frustration in the lack of activity in the halls of Congress was reflected in my conversation with someone that I don't think is a bad guy. I don't think David Kustoff is a bad guy. I think David Kustoff is one of the better guys in Washington, D.C., but the better guys aren't doing enough. And it is time that we impressed upon the better guys that they aren't doing enough. And frankly, if that runs them off, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case with Congressman Kustoff. I wasn't trying to be adversarial with him. But when I ask a congressman, let's not talk about the first 100 days of Trump. Let's talk about Congress's first 100 days. And the thing that you can come up with is you come up with the Laken Riley Act, which was an absolute no-brainer, and the CR, the continuing resolution that froze spending at Joe Biden 2024 levels. The 2024 fiscal year, we overspent by almost $2 trillion. Almost $2 trillion. We're $37+ trillion in debt. The most that DOGE and the executive branch of government can do, they can identify a lot of this spending, and they can attempt to roll back and claw back some of this money as best they can. All of that will be challenged in court. The best remedy is for the Congress to take notice. The best thing that DOGE can do for the American people is to identify the overspending so that we can send a message to Congress to stop it, because they are, particularly the House of Representatives, they're the purse strings. And they can either make them longer or make them shorter or keep them the same. So with all due respect to Congressman David Kustoff, I don't think that this is a gold star on the report card of Congress that continuing resolution, Donald Trump had to beg for it. Y'all remember? Donald Trump came to us and said, listen, y'all put me in trust me. Let's do this. I know it's not good. I know it's bad. We'll get the big, beautiful bill coming up Memorial Day. And by the way, they are kicking it to 4th of July. And if they're kicking it right now to 4th of July, I mean, what happens when we have to wait till Labor Day? And then eventually they start coming. You know what they don't? You know what never doesn't happen? All of these things that don't happen. You know what never doesn't happen? Their vacations never don't happen. Their time away from Congress and from work never don't happen. And then they tell us, oh, we got to go back to our home district. So we got to do home district. We got to do homework. Shut up. Just stop it. Anyway, I'm in a mood. 615-737-9986, our telephone number. If you've got any thoughts on all of this, first 100 days of Trump, first 100 days of Congress, we're going to refocus our direction to more local and state matters with our next guest. I've been meaning to get him on for some time. It's been such a delight getting to know the Davidson County GOP, generally speaking. I was first introduced to the Davidson County GOP through Lonnie Spivak, who was then chairman of the Davidson County GOP. He has now turned the reins over to our next guest, Jason Weekly, who joins us in studio to talk about activities going on in Davidson County to make you a believer that there are more conservatives and Republicans in Davidson County than you think, and to talk about some of the activity going on this week regarding what we expect to be tax increases on the way. Jason.
Yes, sir.
What's going on? How are you?
Good. I just want to say I am here legally. I walked in while Kustoff was still on. And
that's right. He was saying that we probably had more
people
crossing into
your studio today than across the border.
Than across the border.
I am here legally.
Did Chris check all your paperwork? I'm assuming that he checked all your paperwork, and that's all good. Do you have your real ID, by the way?
No, I don't.
Why are you going to fly?
I don't. Well, I haven't needed to.
That's a good answer.
I like to drive.
We anytime there's a lull in the conversation, I just bring up Real ID to Tennesseans, and they go insane because they're so angry. Because it is such a great example of how the government just doesn't do anything properly or well.
Yeah, they'll get Real ID done, but they won't change the daylight savings.
Oh my God! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Yeah. And everybody agrees that they don't want it to move. Mm-hmm. The problem is deciding where you want it to stay.
Yeah. I really don't care. Just
I don't
stop
either.
doing it.
Just stop changing it.
Yeah.
And we'll get used to whatever you do.
Like I will wake up at the daylight, whatever it is. Right. I don't care what time. I'll negotiate with my boss. Like, just let me come in at this time because I'll be awake for 2 or 3 hours.
It is my understanding. For those that don't know, Jason Weekly's in charge of the Davidson County GOP, and by extension, the Davidson County GOP Reagan Day Dinner.
Yep.
Which just went down, and it is my understanding that despite the shortcomings of the Master of Ceremonies at that event, it was a great job. Do you think? I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
I know it was a great event.
It was
at the Woolworth Theater. It was fabulous.
Yes, a lot of people called and told me. I mean, they were telling me the night of too. So we had a really good fundraiser. Lots of great people in the room. Everyone had a good time. So,
do you think the next governor of the state of Tennessee was in that room that night?
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
It's a good bet. It's a good bet.
It's a really good bet.
Just as a side note, Congressman John Rose, who has announced, Congressman Marcia Blackburn, who it's wildly speculated will be announcing, were both in attendance. There were a lot of other dignitaries there too, and potential folks.
Probably some future congressmen and governors in the room. So
possibly so. Do you think that too much is made of the blue nature of Davidson County?
I do. I think it's not as blue as California is blue. I mean, we have some people here in the state who've moved here. A lot of people complain about the don't California my Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's just because I run in Republican circles. Every Californian I've met is a Republican refugee. Every New Yorker I've met.
They're running from something.
They're running away from the blue states.
Right.
So I think our blue people are a little bit, they've been here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked to many people in the Republican Party of Davidson that are former Democrats. Like with our two favorite presidents, Reagan and Trump, are former Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of those in Nashville. I think the old blue dog Democrat philosophy is still around in the South. So, I mean, not to knock it, but I mean, people have Christian values that they want to take care of people, but they misguidedly think that the government needs to take care of them instead of their church. I go to a church that donates millions of dollars every year to help take care of people and put them on the right path and rebuild their life or whatever it is. But they don't hold a gun to my head and tell me I have to tithe 10% or I'm going to church jail.
Right.
It's like
no, you're speaking my language. I say all the time. I've been saying it for 25 years that sadly the government has seized control over what ought to be the responsibility of our church groups, our charity groups, and our community organizations.
You know what private giving is? It's about 6%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an old number, so it could be less. But, I mean, like, you should be giving 10%. You should have the finances to give more than 10%. But, I mean, Ramsey talks about that, live on...
Right.
Live on less and less and less, and so you can give more and more and more. But I mean, we have a government that just wants more and more and more, so you live on less and less and less.
What would you say? I mean, is the spirit of conservatism or conservative values, even libertarian values? I'm a libertarian, but I gravitate. I don't belong to the Republican Party, but I gravitate to the Republican organization because the libertarians aren't organized and don't seem to ever will be. But do you think you're growing in Davidson County?
I think we are. I mean, we've definitely seen it just since Trump's reelection. I mean, the energy is very high. We've got people coming out of the woodwork. A lot of them are younger like me. They're voted for Trump or Republican for the first time or voted for the first time at all. And they're starting to come out of the woodwork, I think. We need to let them know that we're here. I think there's a disorganizedness to Republican Party politics in Middle Tennessee, but I'm trying to build bridges between different organizations and bring us together.
What if you're talking to somebody on the street and they say, "Oh, you're the chair of the Davidson County GOP"? Mm-hmm. What is that?
I'm chief wog mom of the volunteer recruiting committee. Yes, we're all volunteer recruiters. That's what the party is. No one gets paid to do any of this. We talk to our friends, get them involved. I'm the chief volunteer recruiter. So that's what it is.
Is part of your job to try to identify good, young, conservative people that could potentially be viable for offering themselves to public service?
Yes, that's one of the main goals that we have as a party. A lot of that kind of just happens on its own because people kind of get the bug to run for office, and they don't always call us first. Mm-hmm. They don't have to, but we'd like to talk to them and get them introduced. We got circles, donors, we know people. But my job that I'm trying to do in my 2 years of my term is to recruit more people to do the door knocking and the phone banking and the letter writing. We've got precinct captains that are supposed to be the neighborhood operators. They're like finding 3, 4, 5 Republicans in their neighborhood and bringing them back to the party. Mm-hmm. That's the ground game, and the Democrats do it really well. So the Republicans need to get there, and I'm trying to build that up before I leave in 2 years. That's what I'm hoping to do. Well,
and I feel like there's oftentimes a general feeling of, those conservatives in Davidson County, if you're in Wilson or Sumner or, Williamson or, any of the surrounding counties or communities in Metro Nashville, it's like, y'all are kind of on your own. We can only help you so much. Mm-hmm. I think there needs to be more of a spirit of togetherness. And I say that particular to what's about to go down with the mayor's address.
Yeah. This is how I look at it from a big picture perspective. The property tax is one of the most hated taxes in America. Nobody likes it. It always goes up, and it's regressive. You are making less money. You're being hurt more by property tax. Freddie O'Connell wants to tell people he's running for office, and I want you to stay in Nashville, and yet he's doing everything he can to run more people out of town. 48% of the people who work for him don't live in the city or the county. But the bigger perspective that I take on all of this is that it's going to implode one day. Like Nashville will become a Baltimore one day if we keep going in this direction. We have an avowed socialist on city council. Sean Parker is a co-founding member of the Middle Tennessee Democratic Socialists of Middle Tennessee. He is a city council member for District 5.
So, speaking of the city council, is it still the plan to shrink the council?
I think so. I've heard that. I believe it is in court, and it just needs to be.
They argued that it was too close the last election cycle, and I get that, but
if they keep waiting, it's going to be too close to the 27 cycle.
But it's do you deal with the devil you know or the devil you don't? The idea is that if you shrink it from 40 to 20, that you would smooth out the rough edges and stop some of the.
It'd be similar to what they did with getting rid of the Democratic Congress seat. They divided it up into 3 Republican seats. So
that's the idea, right?
We could conceivably do that if they map it out right.
Get more. I don't suggest. Maybe you get more conservatives, but you certainly. The idea is to get more moderate people.
Right. Yeah, because we have a very far left leaning, city council. It's crazy liberal. We've got Jenny Welch. She's the one trying to push all these Nest bills that aren't called Nest anymore because we got real pissed off at it last year. So, I was there at Belmont. There was 1,000 people standing around in 4 or 5 different hallways trying to get into a classroom that seated 60 or 70 people. So,
all right, hold your thought real quick. Yeah. Jason Weekly is with us. He is the chair of the Davidson County GOP. We're going to talk about the event that's coming up this Thursday and the GOP in Nashville and Davidson County's participation in it to try to say no to Freddie O'Connell in advance of the expected property tax increases. 22 after the hour on Super Talk. Hot dang, it's Tuesday. I knew that it was Tuesday, but I just realized, because I'm about to tell you about Volunteer Outfitters, that it's not just Tuesday, it is T-Shirt Tuesday. Hallelujah. T-Shirt Tuesday is on. So right now until 6 o'clock, any purchase at Volunteer Outfitters in Hendersonville on New Shackle Island Road, you get a free T-shirt. That's pretty cool. I mean, so T-shirt Tuesday goes on every Tuesday. It's just Tommy's way of saying, come on in, introduce you to the store, and see some of the incredible brand names that they have right there in Hendersonville. You don't have to drive to a mall. You don't have to go to some faraway storefront in order to get the brands that you love if you're an outdoorsman, like Huck, Drake, Orca, Aftco, Extra Tough Boots, and so much more. Every outdoorsman within the sound of my voice needs to go to Volunteer Outfitters and see the hunting attire, the fishing attire, the lake attire, the water attire, golf. I mean, they do it all at Volunteer Outfitters. They're open from 10 until 6, Tuesday through Friday, 10 until 4 on Saturday. You can give them a call and talk to them about what they've got to offer you, 615-431-0824. But I encourage you to go over, buy you a little something, get yourself a free T-shirt on T-Shirt Tuesdays. They're in Hendersonville, New Shackle Island Road. Tell Tommy and the crew that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Volunteer Outfitters.
Well, the driver in that crash that killed 3 children and 1 teenager at an after-school program in Illinois has been identified. We'll tell you more coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, a few more moments with Jason Weekly. He is the chair of the Davidson County GOP. So Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, there is an event. I would suppose you'd call it a gathering, a rally, a protest of what is expected to be the mayor's address regarding increased taxation in Davidson County. Talk to us about it.
Yes. So I actually just opened my mail today, and I saw that my assessed values have gone up almost 85% of the value of my house, which is insane. But we're organizing with AFP, Americans for Prosperity, and the Tea Party Group in Nashville. We issued a joint press release about a week and a half ago. And we're organizing Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And I'd like a lot of people to show up. I know it's during business hours, and that's on purpose for the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, he don't want you showing up after hours because you would be available. But if people get mad enough and show up, I mean, if you have any concern about your property taxes going up 20-30%, I need you to get mad enough.
And he's going to, and what frustrates me is he's going to try to lie to us and tell us that
your rate's going down.
Right, your rate's going down.
But that doesn't mean that the dollars you pay in January are going down. They're going to go up.
The rate is going down because the Truth in Taxation law prevents the county from allowing the assessment to increase your property taxes. They have to proactively increase their property taxes, which is what Freddie's doing.
They will do, yeah. As soon as this goes through, it's a two-step tango thing. They'll push this through, the budget will get approved, and then they'll vote on increasing the rate again. It all happens in the next 8 weeks. Before July 4th, this will be over. And they're going to do it. I mean, there's no one in Metro Council to stop them. There's no hurdle in the way unless people tell Freddie how angry they are about it.
Well, and let him know that it puts his political future as mayor of the city of Nashville at risk.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be running for re-election in August of 27, and then I think later that year they get to do it again, or it would be probably 28 where they would get to do the assessment again, because he wants to do it every 2 years and make it less painful every 2 years. Because it's doing it every 4 years, it's a big punch in the nose.
Well, and as I predicted at one of the events that I attended regarding this subject, they're going to blame Trump. I mean, and some on the council are already trying to do so.
Yeah, you know what happens when you don't get your Christmas bonus that you were going to use towards that $2,000 80-inch plasma screen TV? You don't buy the damn television.
Well, they're going to buy the TV.
Give up on the $7 billion transit plan. He's already lost that court case about buying land for affordable housing. Judge told him no.
Hang out for just a second. I'll carry Jason over for just a moment. We got to get to Ken Weaver in the newsroom right now. But if you have any comment on any of this subject matter or any questions about the event happening on Thursday morning, Jason will stick around for just another moment with us. It is 30 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And the driver in that crash that killed 3 children and 1 teenager at that after-school program in Illinois last night has been identified. So far, no charges have been filed against 44-year-old Marianne Akers. She's not even in custody. State police said she was not injured and was taken to a local hospital for evaluation, and toxicology reports are pending. Here in Nashville, we're learning more about the double homicide near a Donaldson apartment complex. 2 men were found dead of gunshot wounds by someone walking on a trail near the Lincoln Apartments. One of those men was from Alabama. 19-year-old Amir Landon Wilkerson of Alabaster, just south of Birmingham. Last seen by his family in Alabaster Sunday afternoon, a day before he was found dead here in Nashville. Police said they're working to identify the second murder victim. Elsewhere in Nashville, a teacher is on leave and under investigation for allegedly taping a 7-year-old student to a chair. This is at Mount View Elementary School. According to a statement from Metro Nashville Public Schools, it took place Thursday there at Mountain View Elementary School. And the White House got riled up today when reports about Amazon came out. Here's Alex Stone.
Amazon is denying the claims it launched backlash from the White House, saying adding tariff charges to the main Amazon website has never been under consideration. There had been some discussion about showing import charges on the more obscure, ultra-low-cost website called Amazon Haul, but nothing on the main Amazon website, and that it was only considered for Amazon Haul, but was ultimately not approved, and Amazon has not been moving forward with it.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Police still reporting a crash 24 westbound near the Cheatham-Davidson County line in Jolton. Police reporting a crash on the off-ramp. The lane, well, at least the right lane of the off-ramp blocked 40 westbound to go to 440. And on the south loop, got a crash 65 northbound right before I-40. Also a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Then near the airport, police say there's a crash 40 westbound there at exit 216A. And in Smyrna, police say there's a crash on the left shoulder 24 eastbound before Almaville Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Friends, the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center with Dr. Brian McLaughlin, they are incredible at what they do. Of course, Dr. McLaughlin is taking over the Dr. Poss locations in Brentwood and Murfreesboro. Dr. Poss soon to retire later on this year. And Dr. McLaughlin's such a great guy. I've had an opportunity to meet him. I'm going in, as a matter of fact, next week, just to make sure that my oral device is still fitting properly as it should, and keeping that airway open. And that's one of the things that they do at the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Once you get fitted for a device, it's an oral device that fits in your mouth. It's like a mouth guard in football is the easiest way for me to describe it, although you don't notice it. You go to sleep. It keeps the airways open. You sleep better. You continue to breathe throughout the course of the night. It eliminates the vast majority of your sleep apnea. It eliminates snoring for most people. The treatment is for folks who can't tolerate wearing a CPAP machine. It is completely covered by your insurance. Just ask Dr. McLaughlin or one of his teammates exactly how all of this works when you make the call that so many others have made. In network for most of your insurance companies, and they're an approved community care provider for the VA. They're helping veterans sleep and live better as well. Dr. Brian McLaughlin, Dr. Stephen Poss, and the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Go to TennesseeSleep.com. That's TennesseeSleep.com. All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 39 after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. 8856 on the Super Text line says there's a crash on I-65 North at Thompson Station. Duly noted. Thank you to you field producers out there helping us out. Jason says there better be a train in Nashville or I'm going to feel lied to. Oh, well, get ready to feel lied to. Speaking of Jason's, Jason Weekly's with us. He is the chairman of the Davidson County GOP, talking about the event happening Thursday. I just want to make sure folks are aware of it. And it impacts you. This is what I'm trying to impress upon people. Obviously, you need Davidson County residents, but it will impact everyone in the metro area. And here's what I mean by it. Because if the property taxes go up at the rates that we're hearing they may go up, you're going to squeeze people out of Davidson County.
Yeah.
And Jason, you're talking to a guy who's looking for a house. I would love to live in Davidson County.
I'd love you to live here.
But
Freddie said he wanted you to live here too.
That's what he claims, but I don't. His actions speak louder than his words. I mean, I don't know that I can justify. I mean, the housing prices are already more.
So, like, his administration has almost, by the end of the summer, will have done two things. Increased spending by $7 billion on a transit plan and raised your taxes. He's going to tax and spend. That's what he does.
So I asked you the question because you're paying more attention to all of this than most. It's like, what has Freddie done? And the only thing you and I were able to come up with was his tax increase, his transit tax increase.
Yeah.
And other than that,
and he's not going to get his transit bill fully funded by the federal government like he was hoping under the Biden administration. So he's going to blame that on Trump. But you wanted it. Like, it's the thing you wanted. It's not the federal government's fault that you don't get to pay for it the way you wanted. They want to get billions of dollars from the federal government so they can move our tax dollars around to the programs that are their pet projects.
Well, and the liberals do this all the time, right? They sell a project by claiming they're going to get free money. Free money, free money, free money. Yeah. And it's never free money.
It comes with strings from the federal government.
Always comes with strings. And it's always money borrowed against our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. But even now, the money's going to dry up because the Trump administration is like, we can't keep doing this. Right. So the free money's gone, and now they'll blame Trump. Right. And they'll justify, in my opinion, I think they'll justify in part these property tax increases based on the idea that they're not getting quote-unquote free money anymore.
Right, right. And if your salary is X and you don't make as much next year, or you get to take a pay cut or something, take a new job, what do you do to your budget? You spend less. Like, that's what we should be doing as a city. But we have, I think it's $5 billion in debt. We have more debt than the state does in one city. And it's perpetual. It never ends. Like, how do you get it through people? Do they not have their own budget at home? Who's paying for their bills?
Well, but they look at us as a piggy bank.
Yes.
And Freddie telegraphed in January when he was on with me last, and he'll be on Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. He telegraphed what he thought about this. He said that, the reassessment year on property taxes is an opportunity to make sure your rates are where they need to be.
Yes.
Well, that told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah, that for people with ears to hear and eyes to see, I heard it. That wasn't a telegraph. That was a loud and clear dog whistle. I want to raise your taxes is what he said.
So the way it works is the assessment happens, and when the assessment goes up by state law, they have to pull the rate down consistent with the additional amount of money that you'll be paying.
Yes.
So if your property tax increase, I think the average was 45%.
Yeah.
So if your property tax went up, or your assessment went up by 45%, the assessed value of your property goes up by 45%, they have to cut the rate to zero it out, so you'll be paying the same amount that you paid last year.
Yeah, I think it's the state comptroller's office is like, if it's 2 point whatever, they'll say, no, it's got to be 1.9 or something. I don't know what it'll be. But
so the idea is if you paid $2,000 last year, you're paying $2,000 this year.
Exactly. And then the budget he proposes will have a tax increase in it.
So any amount increase in the property taxes, he's going to claim, I'm just making up for what we had to lower.
We had to lower it, so we got to bring it back up to zero.
He's going to claim that he's leveling it out, and he's not leveling it out.
No, it is an outright lie.
And I just want to make sure people understand that when he says he's leveling it out, the truth in taxation, the law levels it out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything.
No.
He
could leave it the hell alone.
All right, and we pay the same amount.
Right. I would like that very much. I own a house.
So that's what it's all about Thursday morning.
Yes. And so, I mean, if you are in any way as mad as Matt and I are about this, get your butt downtown on Thursday, eat breakfast at the Frothy Monkey if you want to. I don't care. But, show up.
Is there a Frothy Monkey?
There is, right around the corner.
Oh,
It's on 5th. And
are you going to be at the Frothy Monkey?
I'm going to park somewhere.
You going to buy me some coffee at the Frothy Monkey? Look at me. I'm scoring coffee off Jason.
But, go show up early, get breakfast downtown, and walk on over to 5th and Church, where we'll be at the library, and raise some hell with us.
Well, and at very least, honest assessment of this, we would have to have a lot of people to impact.
This is going to pass, but whether it will be a 30% increase on the whole total dollar numbers that you're going to pay in January next year, or 10%, depends on
the numbers.
How scared Freddie is of the voters.
Well, and at very least, get in front of television cameras, allow the TV folks to talk to you, allow the other media to talk to you, and make sure that they understand that there is a strong contingent of fiscally conservative-minded people in this, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, does not matter.
So there's multiple ways to make your voice heard beyond Thursday at 9 a.m. Go to our website, gopnashville.org. We have a big call to action at the top. Just sign up. We'll tell you when things are. But it's city council meetings. We're going to have about 4 or 5 of them before this is all said and done. Your city council member has regular monthly meetings. They'll probably have 1 or 2 before this is done. Show up. Talk to them in person. They do not like that.
I get it. That's why we should do it.
Call their office, write them letters. That's less effective. But if you get in their face and tell them how mad you are, they will listen.
Well, and here's what I want to, I just looked over out of the corner of my eye, and Dave says, hey, Matt, just come to Hendersonville. Matt currently lives in Wilson. Matt currently lives in Wilson County, right? So here's why, if you're in Wilson or Hendersonville or in Columbia or wherever you might be away from Davidson County, here's how it impacts you. Because people that have the ability, if Davidson County continues to abuse their citizens the way that they're doing, they will leave. And I'm sad, but it will happen. And they will fly to these other communities, and they will put a strain on city services there. And what is your city going to do when it feels a strain on your city services? They're going to want to increase your tax too.
Yes.
And they'll justify it by saying, well, we've grown by 18% or we've grown by 28% or whatever it might be. Well, and they'll shine it up and they'll make it all slick and they'll make it sound all good and they'll make it sound positive. The reason that it's happening is because there's so much flight out of Davidson County.
Get ready for potholes and bike lanes and
all the
sidewalks to nowhere.
Can Freddie O'Connell he's going to be on Thursday, and I'm going to challenge him on this because he claims that he wants more affordable housing in Davidson County. He's been telling me this since I've met him. How the need for affordable housing, the need for city workers and people who live in that work in the city to be able to live in the city. How can he claim that he wants that and we expect a 30% property tax increase? Does he not believe those get passed on?
Yeah, they do. And he was hoping that renters don't figure that out. But as soon as their lease gets renewed, their lease is going up too. Because that homeowner, the building owner, is not going to just eat
the cost?
No, they're not. They're living on a margin too.
Oh, man. Well, and you add this, and I knew that Freddie was certainly middle of the road Democrat, right? I hoped that he wasn't listening to the far left wing.
I think he is.
But I think he is. Because he can't make a decision on law and order. He can't make a decision on some common sense things like the fairgrounds.
Was it Fusis we were talking about that passed, and he now says that it can't pass? It's already gone
the
through?
LPRs, right?
Sorry.
No, LPRs passed the city council.
Yeah.
The city council voted to approve LPRs.
Yeah.
All he had to do was find contracts and bring them the contracts, and they have to approve the contracts. And he won't do it. But now he's saying, well, I don't think that LPRs would pass if it came before this guy. Well, it's already passed, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
I just want him to go on record.
Yeah.
Are you in favor of license plate readers or not to help solve crimes? Yes or no?
All I see is an equivocator. Waffler.
He's so squishy.
But that helps him because it confuses people. They don't. You can't really get mad with somebody that you can't mold into a mold. But that's what they do. I mean, that's a professional politician right there.
Jason Weekly just called Freddie O'Connell like a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
I forget the sci-fi movie that those shapeshifters were in.
I think it's a Star Trek thing.
Is it? I think you're probably right. You're probably right. All right. So what's the call to action for everybody listening?
Show up on Thursday, 9 a.m. If you want to get connected to anything else we're doing beyond Thursday, go to gopnashville.org. We have a big call to action at the top of the page.
Nathan is in Nashville. Let's get Nathan's call in here real quick before we say goodbye to Jason. Hello, Nathan. How are you?
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm just calling because I am a Metro school teacher living in Davidson County, and every time they say about the property tax increase, they claim they're going to give teachers raises, but my property tax ends up having to swallow my pay raise. And then it just frustrates me that, like I think one of you said, it was like a 48% of Davidson County employees live outside of Davidson County.
Yes.
And they get the benefit of the pay raise.
Yep.
And I have to pay
you
for
make
my
too much as a teacher.
Apparently so.
I mean,
even though I only get paid 10 months out of the year.
Yeah.
But, you know, like the history of Davidson County or Nashville is that it's been Democrat run since 1963.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just frustrating that they won't listen to anybody saying stop raising property taxes. It's high enough as it is.
Yep.
And we have panhandlers that live around here without paying rent or paying property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take. Thanks.
Well, that's a good
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan, for the telephone call. I mean, you need to come out, Nathan, Thursday morning. I'll be there Thursday as a concerned citizen. I want to see as many of you as possible. I understand that it's a weekday. I understand it's 9 o'clock in the morning or 9. I mean, the mayor doesn't go before the city until 10. Mm-hmm. The idea is not that everybody can get into the public library. The idea is to be there when he gets there.
Yes. Yeah, when he's walking into the building, and other Metro Council members will be there too, and the media will be there. We just want to show a force, show people that there are people in Nashville that are upset about this, and we are a large and growing, no longer silent majority, we hope. So
Sally writes in and says, all you have to do is look at Frederick to know what a weasel. I mean, I don't think he's a weasel, Sally. He's more like, I've said that Freddie reminds me of what a human being would look like if a squirrel took human form. Doesn't he look like kind of like a squirrel?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Maybe like a pet ferret or something. I don't know.
Damn, Jason's meaner than me.
Well,
You're meaner than me.
Well, squirrels are outside.
Jason's a little too lovable.
Yeah,
a little too. Jason feels like a squirrel's a little too lovable for Freddie O'Connell. Thank you for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
There was one person that said where to contact you. Is that GOP Nashville?
Yeah, GOP Nashville. My contact information's on there. Jason.weekly@gopnashville.org.
.org. Yep. Very good. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
There's Jason
Y'all
Weekly.
have a great
We'll
day.
be back. You too. 52 after the hour on Super Talk. There are a lot of diagnoses out there, a pill for everything, but not all diagnoses are accurate, and not all pills are good for you. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and when you get a diagnosis for European auto repair, if you have not gone to Eurofix first, I would encourage you to get a second opinion from Eurofix. Actually, I'd frankly encourage you to go ahead and go to Eurofix first, but they are the home of second opinions. Before you spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars on vehicle repair with a diagnosis, you need to make sure at Eurofix that the diagnosis is the proper one. It could save your vehicle's life. It could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Life is too short to get stressed. So at Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection. You never get a high-pressure sales tactic to do the thing that they want to do. They'll inform you and get instruction from you. And at Eurofix, you also get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. 5 locations to serve you. As always, Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. It's Eurofix. Go to 844-EUROFIX on the phone, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Police say there's a crash blocking the right off-ramp lane, 40 west to I-440. Then we've got 65 northbound past June Lake Boulevard in Williamson County. Highway Patrol reporting a crash at that location. In Rutherford County, police say there's a crash on the left shoulder 24 eastbound before Almaville Road. Over by the airport, 40 westbound at exit 216A. And in Lebanon, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 840 eastbound near Stewart's Ferry Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 58 minutes past 4. 2 minutes until 5 o'clock. For many of you, that's quitting time. Hope everybody's doing well so far. Donald Trump is set to speak at an event in Michigan. If we have the opportunity, we will jip some of that. That would be JIP, Join in Progress, in the next hour on the show. Plus your telephone calls, of course. As always, Nincompoops in the News upcoming in the 5 o'clock hour. There's lots to get to. We're just about halfway home. We're at halftime on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to Tim's call and whomever's online, too. If you want to talk property taxes, we can do so. I know it's perhaps for some not the sexiest of topics, but, I mean, when you know that your taxes are about to go up, and you do nothing about it, then, well, you blame the politicians, sure. I mean, after all, they're fearless. They don't believe that there are enough smart people in Davidson County to say no. They believe that they can pull a snow job on most of the people of Davidson County and claim to them that these are not regressive taxes that are passed on to those who are least able to afford it. But that's exactly what they are. And that's exactly what they're going to do without some form of pushback. Let's push back together. Here's Ken Weaver in the newsroom on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee is under at least a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. But if you are along and north of I-40, that increases to a level 2 out of 5. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. On the 100th day in office of his second term, President Trump in Michigan to deliver some tariff relief for automakers.
He's signing an executive order that's going to ease some of the tariffs for the American automakers. This is going to mean that the tariff on auto parts that's set to go into effect on May 3rd, it will still go into effect, but the auto companies now won't have them stacked on top of existing tariffs on steel and aluminum. They're going to have them decreased a bit, so you're not paying all of the tariffs, essentially.
President Trump joined by Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer at Selfridge Air National Guard Base to announce it will be getting 21 new F-15EX fighter jets. Trump praising Whitmer, who has faced criticism from some Democrats for meeting with Trump.
You know, I'm not supposed to do that. She's a Democrat. They say, don't do that. Don't have her here. I said, no, she's going to be here. She's done a very good job, frankly, and she was very much involved with the Republicans. They worked together on saving it, and it was not easy.
It's crucial for the Michigan economy. It's crucial for the men and women here, for our homeland security and our future. So thank you. I'm so grateful that this announcement was made today, and I appreciate all the work. Thank you.
Amazon denying it was planning to display tariff costs on products listed on its main website. Got lots of attention, but Amazon says those reports are false.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said this about reports that Amazon was considering the move.
This is a hostile and political act by Amazon.
But Amazon says it's not true, that it was never under consideration for the main Amazon site, and nothing of the sort has been implemented on any Amazon property. Its team at the more obscure, ultra-low-cost store called Amazon Hall had discussed listing import charges, but it was never approved and was never going to be implemented. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Wegovy's parent company, Novo Nordisk, says it's partnering with telehealth companies that until now have been providing cheaper compounded or off-brand drugs that act the same way as the popular weight loss drug. Dave Moore is the vice president of U.S. operations, telling ABC News about the change.
Wegovy is fully available. All doses are available, the real Wegovy, in our real pen, whether it's at a pharmacy or through these new collaborations with the telehealth companies.
The name brand version will be home delivered to uninsured patients for $499 a month, plus a likely telehealth service charge of about $100 a month. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police saying a crash is blocking the right off-ramp lane, 40 westbound to 440. Then in Williamson County, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 65 northbound past June Lake Boulevard. In Madison, police say there's a crash, Gallatin Pike north of Old Hickory Boulevard. And in Goodlettsville, Gallatin Pike north at Conference Drive. In Bellevue, police reporting a crash, Highway 70 south at I-40. And in Smyrna, an accident on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound before Almaville Road. Over by the airport, police say there's a crash 40 westbound at exit 216A. And in Wilson County, Lebanon, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 840 eastbound near Stewart's Ferry Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Donald Trump speaking before a rally in Warren, Michigan. We will join some of that in progress in moments on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Y'all know how our man, PDJT, is. He can talk for hours. Your man on the radio can talk for hours as well. As a matter of fact, we do on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. It is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pleased to have you with us. We are joined by Chris Weber. He's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Thank you, Mr. Weber.
You are quite welcome, sir.
Ken Weaver's back in the newsroom. He's gathering headlines. Did you tell everybody about I-24 there, Weaver?
Which part?
Right lane shut down, I-24 East just past exit 78 in Murfreesboro. No.
Let's see here.
That's a loyal listener, 7253, giving us that one.
I don't see that on my screen. But I don't doubt it.
Well, I mean, it is I-24, Ken.
I got a report of a bad mishap on Bell Road as well. About 8 cars involved in an accident there with some people that took off running afterwards. After they hit a bunch of cars. Yeah.
I don't doubt that either.
Mm-hmm.
No, sadly, I don't doubt. I mean, I wish I could doubt it, but I don't.
Yeah, that's injury crash, Bell Road at Edge-O Lake Drive.
What kind of drive?
Edge-O Lake Drive. Edge-O Lake.
Okay.
Kind of like Lando Lake.
Yeah, like Lando Lake. This is Edge-O Lake.
They still got the Indian on the Lando Lake?
No,
or did they take,
no.
They took the Indian off?
Yeah.
We don't get anything nice anymore. All right, so Donald Trump talking. We got many of you wanting to comment on either his first 100 days or property taxes in Davidson County. Several of you already offering your comments, like Nick, who really, you know what? Nick's got no compassion for those of you in Davidson County. Says, I hope Nashville gets an over 30% tax increase. They're the dumbasses that elected Low T Freddie, said Nick. I mean, I guess that's that. I mean, there is that. Sally says, did you just say the people of Davidson County are smart? That voted for the transit tax are smart? The politicians in Davidson County know bleeping good well most of Davidson County doesn't pay attention to a damn thing. Look, I hope that the people of Davidson County are smart enough. I sadly recognize that there are enough liberals that for some reason believe that they are immune from some of these tax increases. They believe corporations pay taxes. They believe companies pay taxes. They believe rich fat cats who own buildings pay property taxes, and they don't. Corporations don't pay taxes. Companies don't pay taxes. If I increased, the taxes of whatever shoes you might be wearing right now, I'm wearing some Ariat boots. But if we increased Ariat boot tax by 100%, you think Ariat boots are just going to eat that tax and not pass that tax along to the consumer? One of the reasons, when this Amazon deal was going on this morning, and it got quickly disabused by Amazon themselves, apparently there was somebody that said, hey, maybe we should list on Amazon the amount of money being paid in tariffs versus the amount of money being charged for the item. And then eventually it was discovered that this wasn't on Amazon proper. It was on Amazon Haul, which is like a bulk, low-cut, cheap Amazon offshoot. I don't know. It's a division of Amazon, something like that. So it was not going to be on the proper Amazon, but it was considered. And, of course, the Trump administration caught wind of it and said, no. And they said, okay, no. You know what? I would like to see that. I don't mind. I would love to see a breakdown of the amount of money that I pay for an item. And what do much like an invoice that you get when you get your automobile taken care of. You go to the car dealership or you go to Eurofix. Eurofix is a great company. I love Eurofix. Love what Aaron Stokes does. Aaron Stokes will break down. Here's what the parts cost. Here's what the labor was. And this is what it's going to cost you. This is what sales taxes are. So the government gets its piece. We had to pay this for the parts that we work on the car. So it's not always a bad thing that you get a breakdown of the invoice. I wouldn't mind a breakdown because look, folks, let's not, just because it's Donald Trump, and I love our guy, and I think I have a firm understanding of exactly what he's trying to accomplish with his tariff talk. He's trying to get better deals for the United States of America and ultimately better deals for the consumer because Donald Trump knows better than anybody. Companies don't pay taxes and countries don't pay taxes. Consumers pay taxes. Tariffs are taxes. And if tariffs go up, if taxes go up, those taxes are going to be passed on from the companies that pay them to the consumer that ultimately has to foot the bill. These companies are not running on profit margins that can absorb taxes like this. But that's ultimately not the point to begin with. Oh, many of you agree with Nick. So you're happy that Davidson County, well, I mean, that's fine. The people that have the ability, the people that don't have the ability will have less of an ability to stay in Davidson County, and they're going to move to your communities too. So your level of poverty in the outlying areas is probably going to go up as a result of taxes going up in Davidson County. I'm just here to tell you. Secondarily, middle-class Davidson County residents who don't have the money to absorb another property tax increase are probably going to be looking for an avenue out. Now, if your community in Sumner County or Rutherford County or Murray County or Williamson County or wherever, Wilson, if your community can absorb that additional amount of people, more power to you. Now, if that puts a burden on public services and they eventually come down the road and ask for you for tax dollars, you're probably not going to want to pay that. I'm just saying the proverbial poop ball rolls down the proverbial hill, and it eventually will hit you, whether you like it or not. What says Mary about all of this? Mary, I believe, is in Easton Nashville. Hello, Mary. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hey there, Matt. Love your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been sitting at my computer working on my comps to protest my taxes just now and listening to you guys talk, and it's a shame, and I'm just really mad, and I agree with the guy that said that these people, I don't want to use the word he used in case I shouldn't say it, but voted this person in he is destroying our city by the transit tax, the property taxes, the crime that's going on down on Lower Broadway. If people don't realize that this is all going to impact our taxes even more when people stop going down there, and he's making policies that are keeping people from going down there. It's just the musicians can't even make a living. It's insane. And he is step by step destroying Davidson County.
Can you think of, the guy's been in office, a year and a half now? And I can't think of a thing that he's done positive for the city.
I can't think of a thing that he's done, but I know one thing. I can't drive down any road to show people houses without having to slow down for cushions in the street. He's done that. And there's those little bike things that nobody uses because they don't use the bike lanes. And now I've got big purple buses going down my side street. It's insanity, and it's nothing positive.
Oh, but I bet those buses are full of happy bus riders.
That's kind of funny you would say that, because I'm out at all hours of the day, and every time I see a big old bus, there's about maybe 3 people on it. But don't worry, he wants to replace them with electric buses, and won't that be good?
Won't that be?
A little more money.
That'll be great.
Oh,
That'll get people on them. That'll get people on them.
Let's not forget. Let's change the arena and make it all glass to the tune of how many $1 million?
Oh yeah. Oh no. They're gonna upgrade the facilities downtown to keep those tourists coming in. So they'll keep that money coming in.
It's got to go with our new arena, our new football stadium, because we've got such a great football team.
Mary, thank you for the call. See, Mary's not happy, and Mary lives in East Nashville. I'm hearing from a lot of you that live in Davidson County, and you're not very pleased. 3989 says Sumner County just voted for a 1-cent sales tax to cover the road repairs because of more residents. Several of you in Sumner are telling me, 2236 says, don't send them to Sumner County. We're full to the brim. Well, they're coming somewhere. Davidson County is, I think Ben Cunningham of the Nashville Tea Party told us this, that, while all of the surrounding metro, when I first got here in 2021, we were told that Metro Nashville was growing by roughly 100 people a day. That's a lot of people. It's around 30,000 people a year, or a little more, right? And it went down in 2022 to like 90 people a day. I don't know what it is now in 2025, but that figure is all about the metro area. That's in Franklin and Columbia and Spring Hill and Murray County and, all of the other communities that we've mentioned. And sure, I suppose that California folk can afford to move to Davidson County because, relatively speaking, it's a lot cheaper. But not a lot of regular folk that just have a regular paycheck and a regular budget to spend. I've noticed it. I've told multiple people that I'm looking for a house. And I'm 51 years old, and at some point, home values I'm not a Pollyanna, but I just have to get over the fact that the houses that I look at seem to be overvalued by $400,000 and $500,000. I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm looking at a house that I think ought to cost me $500,000, which, by the way, there was a time in my life where I thought that was a house that rich folks lived in, right? If you can afford a house that's $500,000, that is a rich person's house. Forget $1 million. And now I'm looking at homes. You know, you look around on Zillow, you look around on some of these realtor platforms. Oh, look at this. It's a nice 4-bedroom and 3-bath. Oh, it's 3,100 square feet with a nice basement area for a man cave in the back. Oh, look, it's $1.1 million. But it's on a half an acre. Like, when the hell did this happen? Well, it's happened. And by the way, Davidson County does not have a revenue problem. Davidson County has a spending problem. Hey, let's dip into this for just a moment. Donald Trump is stating the case for the first 100 days. He's got a Michigan rally in Warren, Michigan going on. Let's dip in.
And they were very smart. What they're best at is cheating at election. They cheat on elections. That's their single greatest trait. They cheat like hell. And let me tell you, they tried to cheat on this election, but we made it too big to rig. Remember? Too big to rig. They tried. I watched those numbers. We had Elon with us. Elon is a smart guy. Elon was with us. Elon Musk. And I was sitting with Dana White and Elon Musk, and I'm watching the numbers in Pennsylvania, and we're winning so easily. Then all of a sudden it flatlined. And I said, I think they're cheating again. Look at this. What's going on? I think they're cheating again. And Elon looked at us. He goes, no, you're going to win. They just don't know it yet. And about 15 minutes later, we won, sort of crazy. I'll never forget. You're going to win. They just don't know it yet. But you know what? We made it too big to rig. It was too big. Starting on day one, I deployed the U.S. military to defend our country from the invasion of our border. I shut down all migrant flights. Do you remember when we're talking about people coming in, they're trying to deny it, okay? People are flowing in. They say, no, I don't see any people. It's like, what's wrong? But then we saw airplanes going overhead. We said, what the hell are those airplanes doing? Big Boeing 757s were traveling right overhead, loaded up with people.
All right, Trump's on a roll. We're going to let him continue going. We're reliving the 2024 election cycle right now, and that's all well and good. Perhaps we'll get to the first 100 days at some point. Maybe, just maybe, our president of the United States will point to Congress and explain to us why Congress seems to be doing nothing, despite the fact that we have a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate. And I don't want to hear about supermajorities because it seems like they're always moving the goalpost on us. Stephen, we'll get to you. Your calls as well. 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show, 21 after 5. We talk all the time about the foundation repair and waterproofing services provided by USS, and with good reason, because if the foundation of your home is compromised, you better get that handled. If your waterproofing issues aren't going away and you smell that musty or moldy smell, you need to get that dealt with too. But concrete leveling is also a service offered by USS. The incredible Polylift system is far less expensive than concrete replacement. It has higher load capacity than traditional approaches. You don't see any color change in your concrete. You're not going to mess up your landscaping either. Work is completed in a couple of hours, and you can walk on it immediately and drive on it in 30 minutes. I did this in my home in Birmingham, and I absolutely loved it. I watched it happen. It's a miracle. It truly is, as to how they can level your concrete, make things safer for you and your family, make it more appealing for a home sale. Concrete leveling, the Polylift system. Ask them about it when you call USS, United Structural Systems. Homeowners simply trust USS. Since 1994, they've been keeping homes stable and dry, and they do it in a great fashion. Call 615-488-7855, 488-7855, or USSTN.com. In Middle Tennessee, if you're looking for a trusted contractor with a passion to build, might I direct you to Stoltz Co. We're talking about custom pole barn buildings like you've never imagined. Stoltz Co. prides themselves on producing higher quality buildings at a more reasonable price than anyone else in the market today. They provide custom solutions in Middle Tennessee and all around in the listening area. They are the leading company when it comes to the creation of post-frame buildings, and they take pride in providing high-quality custom structures at reasonable prices. We're talking about pole barns, garages, barn dominiums, event spaces, equestrian spaces, foundations, and concrete, all available at your specification and ready to go with you. Do not consider a prefab building. Talk to Stoltz Co. Go to STOLTZCO.com. That's StoltzCo.com for more information. You can also give them a call, and when you do, tell them Matt Murphy sent you. 615-622-5992. 622-5992 for our friends at Stoltz Co.
We are learning more about that double homicide under investigation since yesterday in Donaldson, and hear from people who live near where a school crossing guard in Nashville was almost intentionally run over. We'll tell you about that. Let you hear some of it at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I can't wait for that story. 26 minutes after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Of course, I guess I'll have to. Because Ken makes
I can do it right now if you want, Brother Murphy.
No. That's a professional news tease, and that is all good.
All
we
right.
shall wait together. But okay. I hope to get to that news story on the dot. I hope so. It's always my
Well, it'll definitely be on a dot.
On a dot.
Yes, sir.
You know I'm late when we were when
I don't say dot.
When it's 5 something.
Either that or I just say I'm Ken Weaver with the
I take away one of the man's pure joys in his life. I take it away on a regular basis. That's on me. Let's see. Donald Trump is currently saying that he's delivering on mass deportation. He's getting into some of the best of the first 100 days. We'll continue monitoring that as we talk with Stephen, who's on the road. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, man. How's it going, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I hope you are.
Yes, sir. Enjoying the show. On the Davidson County property tax, real quick, I just want to say, it seems what's going to happen eventually is that they're pushing the middle class out of Davidson County. You know, the only middle class that'll be left will be retirees and people that already has everything pretty much paid for, and it's just going to end up Nashville will just pretty much be you're either rich or you're on Section 8 HUD housing or projects. You know, it's going to be rich and poor. That's what's been happening over the past 20, 30 years.
Well, I plan on asking Mr. Freddie O'Connell come Thursday. So you say that we need better and affordable housing in Nashville. How is raising the property taxes, that is a regressive tax in its nature, going to help accomplish that goal? Let's see what he says.
Yeah, I'd like to see his reaction. I'd like to see his face. You should take a camera down there or something with you, and so we can see his jerk knee reaction to that. I don't know.
I like that, his jerk knee reaction.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, get your thoughts on this. So the first 100 days, man, I think everything's going real smooth. A lot of the Democrats, you know, are completely against everything, and actually some of the Republicans are starting to pull back too on a lot of the things that Trump has been doing. The biggest thing I'm seeing is Trump is not really. This is not really a Trump agenda. He's not really trying to do anything new. He's just basically trying to fix what's been broken and put our economy where it should be, you know, before everybody started selling out and going to cheap labor all around the world. We're just trying to bring it back and reestablish it. And I think that's the theme of this first 100 days, him being in Michigan, being in the Rust Belt and the Motor City area, because we're going to start seeing a lot of jobs coming back from Mexico and other places. He's going to try to pretty much reignite the automobile industry in Detroit, and which needs to be, you know, have a facelift done and reset anyway. So hopefully it'll all work out for them. So I'm excited to see. But on Gretchen, I mean, it seems like she's putting the people before her party. I don't really know much about her, but, I mean, what's your thoughts on her, you know, being kind of entangled with him during all this?
Entangled with Trump?
Yeah.
Gretchen Whitmer.
I mean, she seems to be trying to you know, do all she can to, you know, put her people before the party and kind of work with him where everybody else is still out there in TDS land.
I think Gretchen Whitmer is trying to use Donald Trump to her advantage. I don't think she's trying to work with him in any way. Stephen, I appreciate the telephone call. As promised, I'm going to get to the news at the bottom of the hour. It's 5:30 on Super Talk.
$5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are still facing at least a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather here in Middle Tennessee. Now, for everybody along in north of 40, that is a level 2 out of 5 risk. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. We're also learning more about that double homicide investigation in Donaldson, where 2 men were found shot to death on a walking trail yesterday. One of the men identified as 19-year-old Amir Landon Wilkerson of Alabaster, Alabama, south of Birmingham. He was last seen by his family in Alabaster on Sunday afternoon, then found dead yesterday in Nashville. Police said they're working to identify that second victim. And people who live near where witnesses say a school crossing guard was almost intentionally run over in Madison are shocked.
Oh, I think that's outrageous. My goodness. I mean, I don't know. Where's the respect for anybody?
Channel 4 says it happened on April 4th at Port Drive and Due West Avenue North, where a driver got angry that the crossing guard was placing cones to divert traffic around an injury crash.
At the end of the day, they're just trying to keep the kids safe, and it's not their fault that you're late.
Well, 36-year-old Stranisha Buford is charged with attempted aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, has a court hearing scheduled for May 30th. And investigators have not yet ruled out pressing charges against the driver of that school bus that crashed in Sumner County yesterday. Channel 4 says this man witnessed it hit a bridge, then flip into a creek on Rockhouse Hollow Drive.
I thought somebody done got killed. That was the first thing on my mind. Somebody done got killed.
19 kids were on the bus. 5 of them were taken to the hospital, none of them killed. President Trump at a big rally in the state of Michigan today to celebrate his 100th day back in office. Speaking to supporters in Warren, just north of Detroit, where he's signing an executive order going to ease some of the tariffs on American automakers. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. West Nashville got a crash right off ramp lane block 40 westbound to I-440. Then in Goodlettsville got a crash 65 northbound at Long Hollow Pike. Police reporting a crash June Lake in Williamson County 65 northbound just past exit 55. Then in South Nashville on ramp partially blocked 440 westbound from westbound I-24. And then near the airport, they got 40 westbound at exit 216A. Near Arrington in Williamson County, police reporting a crash 840 westbound at Horton Highway, exit 42. And then in Smyrna, Rutherford County got a crash on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound before Almaville Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Efficient Heating and Cooling wants you to know that summertime can be a strain on that AC unit, but never you fear. Efficient is here. Jeff Eddy is here with Efficient Heating and Cooling. He's bringing you that maintenance guarantee over the course of the summer. What does that mean? Well, it's as simple as this. If you have maintenance done anytime this season, and I encourage you to get it done right now to make sure that everything's running as it should. If Efficient has to come back for any other reason, they have to service your AC unit at any time during this heat season, then that service call is completely waived if you've had maintenance done on your unit. Get that maintenance scheduled right now. If anything is going to break down, it's going to happen during the summer months. We want to make sure that everything is A-OK, and they can identify significant issues before they happen, which might save you a tremendous amount of money. Now, when it comes time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can help recommend the right unit for you, and it'll always come time at some point or another. But for now, we need to get the maintenance done on your unit. It's always going to cost you less than $125, no matter how many residential units you might have. 615-784-4424. That's 615-784-4424. Or find them online at efficienthvac.net. Dr. Kevin Mitchell and Dr. Ashley know that you can live a pain-free life without having to consider surgery for most of you. Now, for some, obviously surgery is an option that should be at the last of your journey. But for many of you that have not tried spinal decompression, they want to encourage you to do this because spinal decompression can alleviate so much of that pain. How does it work? Spinal decompression heals the disc by opening it up so that blood, nutrition, hydration can get to the area and heal the spinal disc and the nerves. Knee decompression works in very, very much the same way. Now, sometimes there are no pills or spinal creams that'll open up that spinal disc, and you need that decompression technology. And Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley have it at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I've made the switch, and I want you to make the switch as well to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Good people and a great result record. They've helped thousands of people just like you live pain-free. And right now, ask them about their 47% off in celebration of the 47th President of the United States of America. Painisbad.com is the website. That's painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. 246-5009. I'm Matt Murphy, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've got an update on Real ID wait times from Kelly.
Not good.
Ooh, doggy. People are getting mad about all that.
That was a Jed Clampett.
Ooh, doggies. Uncle Jed, I'm gonna go swim in the cement pond. How about that? Man, oh man, I used to love the Beverly Hillbillies. I do a pretty good. What was it? Jane Hathaway. You want to hear my Jane Hathaway?
Yeah, I do.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. But Chief. That's it.
That's right. She called the boss of the bank Chief.
She called him Chief. But Chief. She constantly talked. Jane Hathaway's the only non-idiot in that show. Well, Uncle Jed too, I guess. But the rest of them were just, come on. Jethro Bodine.
What about Jethleen?
Oh, jeez. that's some heeing and sheeing out there.
Yes, sir.
There was some heeing and sheeing going on back in the day. Cross-dressing. I still am angry.
That's two different people.
Twins, brother and sister.
Yeah.
I'm still, every time I think about the Beverly Hillbillies, I was in a trivia contest. And we were set, one of these trivia like nights out.
Yeah.
But it was before they got cheap and just started offering gift certificates. And this was like $100. Not like a big deal, but it's $100.
Yeah.
And we got to the final question, and it was about the father of Max Baer Jr., who was a professional boxer.
That's right.
And the question was about, like, who took on Jack Dempsey, blah, 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 whose son was a famous actor or whatever. And I put Max Baer. Spelled it correctly.
B-A-E-R?
B-A-E-R.
Yeah.
And my question, or my answer, was disallowed.
Is that so?
Because I did not put Max Baer Sr.
Oh.
And I argued. I was half drunk and livid.
I can see that ending badly. Yeah.
But this dude maintained, Max Baer called himself Max Baer, and his father went by Max Baer Sr. because he didn't want. It was so infuriating. I want to hit him in his face. I want to hit him in his face right now. And it happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, I would have died on that hill with you. Come on, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
And like, no, some people put Senior C. Shut up. If I'd remembered that guy's name, I would nominate him for Nincompoops in the News.
Nincompoops in the news.
All right, Marie and Kelly, y'all hang in there. I'll get your calls momentarily. Right now, it is time to get away from the real news and make our way to the Nincompoops of the world. That's right, Ken Weaver, he deals in real news all day long. But this segment, he finds himself a nincompoop and presents it to you. Chris Webber, he's dealing with some nincompoopery with me all the time. So he's kind of astute at the task. And then there's me. I'll find them too, and we present them to you, and you get to vote on your nincompoop of the day. It's Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 3, 2, 1, I'll go.
All right, you do it, Brother Murphy.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. Well, mine's pretty straightforward. It is a Florida man.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Don't do this.
Always
You're
do.
going to do it, aren't you?
What?
I bet you're going to steal mine. Go
Is,
ahead.
is he old?
Well, older than me.
Okay, well then you're probably in the clear then. An 87-year-old Florida man has been arrested earlier this week for domestic battery after tangling with his wife, 85. Anybody want to guess what they were fighting about?
The early bird special.
That's a great guess. That is incorrect. The air conditioning.
Oh.
Let's see. I thought maybe somebody would get it.
That one never goes away.
Long a source of marital strife, control of the thermostat triggered a 7 a.m. confrontation this past Monday, between Charles Ingram and his 85-year-old unnamed spouse, according to an arrest affidavit. Investigators say Ingram returned to the couple's St. Petersburg home and, quote, argued with the victim, his wife, about the air conditioner. The woman, quote, touched the thermostat to turn the air down, prompting Ingram to allegedly push the victim, quote, away from the thermostat and ultimately against the wall. When questioned by police, Ingram reportedly admitted that he pushed her first and stated that the victim then pushed him back. Ingram was
tit for tat.
Yeah, but that's the only one got arrested, Ken. Ingram was arrested, sadly, for domestic violence. The charge enhanced to a felony due to a prior battery conviction that dates back more than 4 decades.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Ingram is scheduled to appear in court later on. As of this writing, this was dated April 29th, so he's appearing in court like now. We'll give you perhaps an update on this story, but the judge is said to likely order him to have no contact with his wife and bar him from returning to the couple's residence. This guy's 87 years old. The couple bought their house together in 1971. They fought. I don't know who called the cops. He pushed her against the wall, probably regrets it. Y'all don't charge this dude. You know who the nincompoops are? If anybody charges this guy with a felony, the legal system, they're the nincompoops.
I agree.
I mean, come on, y'all. The guy shouldn't be messing around with his 85-year-old wife.
Well, she shouldn't have been touching that damn thermostat.
No, sir.
Well, you know what?
You leave it alone, woman.
Actions have consequences, and you know.
Wow.
My grandpa told me one time that some things tote an ass whipping. Now, I'm not saying this is that thing. I'm saying some things do. And you can figure out who the nincompoop in the news is. But I guess it's Mr. Ingram for getting himself in that little spot of bother.
Wow.
Hopefully it works out for the family.
What they say, what did he want the thermostat set to? Does it say?
That's a good question.
You know, I wondered that, Ken. It doesn't really say. I wonder if he got mad that I bet you he was mad that she was turning the AC on.
You think turning it on or off?
But it said it happened in the morning and he was returning. So where had he been? Maybe he had been out for a walk early in the morning and maybe he was a little warm.
Maybe he was hot.
Maybe
he was a little steamy.
Maybe he was coming in from a bender.
Baby, he was coming in from a bender.
He was all dehydrated and hot.
Woman, it's hot in this house. What are you doing? So it has been my experience that anybody over the age of 80, they like it over 80.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting that one of the two liked it hot, and I bet it was her.
I tell you what, man, my parents, they're approaching 80. My dad will be 80 this summer. Mom and Dad, they like it cold.
Do they really?
Really?
Good for you.
See, my mom she complains. Well, she doesn't complain anymore, but, well, really, most people that visit my house complain that it's too cold in the house. Either in the winter or the summer. It's always too cold.
See, I like it. If y'all had to pick, it's going to be too cold or too hot?
Too cold.
Too cold.
Yeah.
Well, Mom and Dad, they'll sit in the air conditioning, set it 65, and they'll have blankets on.
That's living right.
See, Weaver's picky.
See, that's why he doesn't like cold weather, I bet.
I bet it is.
I can't stand it.
Right? So if you had to live the rest of your life too hot or too cold?
Too hot.
You'd go too hot. See, I'd go too cold.
I don't want swamp ass all the time.
No, and I
get a bad case of it, too.
I do, too, and I can put on more clothes.
I'll just put powder on.
A little monkey butt powder?
Yes.
I've had some of that
Gold
stuff.
Bond or whatever it takes.
Oh, don't see. Y'all talk about, see, people that talk about Gold Bond powder or Gold Bond have never used it.
Oh, is it bad?
No, I'm thinking of Gold Star ointment.
I don't know nothing about that.
Gold Star ointment.
Y'all know Gold Star ointment? Look it up.
Not familiar.
All right, real quick. Gold Star ointment, real quick story. And this can be a nincompoop in the news, too, and I'm the nincompoop. So I when I was 15 years old, I went to work at the peach packing shed, and I didn't wear underwear very much. I'm just telling you. So I didn't. So I got a case of I got heat rash on the you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was hot, and I'm loading peaches in trucks. And so I got heat rash. And so I got home, and I was just walking all bow-legged. My grandpa was like, what's wrong? I was like, I got the heat rash. And he goes, go out there and go into the bathroom and get some of that Gold Star ointment and slather that on the inside of your legs. He didn't tell me that's like an icy hot deal.
Oh, no.
And so I just slathered it on there without a care in the world where it went. Y'all know what I'm saying?
I know. Yep.
And the only thing louder than my screaming was his laughing.
His laughing, yeah.
I bet.
Oh, he thought it was hilarious. I was so mad. I got out there. He said, you ain't worried about that heat rash anymore, are you? Ken Weaver, you're a nincompoop, sir.
All right, here we go, boys. This is out of Cleveland, Ohio. Naked drunk pizza eating duo arrested in Westlake over the weekend. 24-year-old Alexandria Maurer and 33-year-old Kenneth Gillespie pulled over on Bassett Road shortly after midnight on Saturday after reports trickled into police that a nude couple was loitering in a nearby parking lot and later had taken off in a car that was spotted driving on a curb and then through somebody's lawn. When authorities approached the vehicle, they found the duo clad in their birthday best, with Maurer polishing off a piece of pizza and Gillespie balancing an open container of beer between his feet.
We're just loitering.
The pair promptly arrested Maurer for OVI. I don't know what that is.
Operating under the influence?
Operating vehicle intoxicated, maybe.
Yeah.
Public indecency. Gillespie for public indecency and open container. Police added disorderly conduct for Gillespie after he apparently decided to relieve himself in the back of the cruiser. Goodness.
I tried to tell you I had to go.
It's not over, boys. The two were taken in for processing, and Maurer, the woman, was released to a sober family member, but later down the road jumped out of the car.
Good grief.
However, she was clothed at the time.
Well, that's good, I suppose.
Wonder when they got naked.
They'd been walking around
The
that
whole
neighborhood
time?
Maybe
that
they're too
way.
hot.
It might have
be.
been.
Maybe they decided that they were too hot and just take off a few clothes. Do some loitering.
Yeah.
Somebody touched the thermostat, got too hot.
Got a little too hot. I mean, I get it. All right, Mr. Weber.
Mine comes from Florida. A Florida man is being labeled the birthday suit bandit. After deputies say he tried to break into a Flagler County home while naked. 63-year-old Matthew Hunter is facing charges of attempted burglary, exposure of sex organs, and criminal mischief.
Goodness.
It happened this past Saturday, shortly after midnight. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call about a nude man, later identified as Hunter, who was trying to break into a residence. The woman inside the home called 911 after she heard what sounded like a knife trying to cut through the lock on her front door. When deputies arrived, they found Hunter walking away from the woman's house, completely naked, as described. They also discovered gouge marks on the door frame and the door molding. According to the arrest report, Hunter is the woman's neighbor. The affidavit states that the woman saw Hunter through her front window as he yelled that he was going to come inside the home and demanded that she open the door. Deputies later spoke with Hunter's wife at their home, who said that her husband had been drinking and he was taking some psychiatric medication. And she admitted she was afraid of him, but didn't have any idea that he had left their home as she had been asleep.
Oh.
Court records show that Hunter is expected to appear for an arraignment on May 27th.
Mr. Hunter's
Clothed.
nincompoop. Oh, well, let us hope.
Yeah.
We have a suggestion that maybe your couple, they just didn't want to get pizza on their clothes.
It might have been.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Makes perfect sense.
All right. I'm obviously not going to win because my story involved no nudity whatsoever.
You don't know that.
But it did involve a very old, very hot dude. All right. So there you go. There's Nincompoops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Your votes. 615-737-9986. Ken Weaver, Chris Webber, Matt Murphy. We'll get back to the real news momentarily. Max Baer still alive? Wow.
Yes, sir.
How about that?
Yes.
Junior.
Jethro
Junior.
Got
to keep the junior on.
But apparently he's not a junior. Still makes me mad. All right, back in a moment on Super Talk. I don't think people can vote for me for Nincompoop in the news for the Gold Star ointment story, but that's what's happening right now. It's a race between Naked Pizza and Gold Star ointment. One way or the other, we all vote for Tony Spain over at Cabinet Solutions, and Tony is on the line with us to tell us all about it. Tony, thank you for stopping by yesterday. It was good to see you, brother.
Oh, yeah, it was fun, man. I was glad to be there with you.
Well, it's a good time, but now it's back to work helping people figure out their cabinet needs or their closet needs, and you got it all at Cabinet Solutions.
We do, and I'll tell you something else. When we come to install it, come in your house, they're fully clothed, man.
And you don't mess with the AC either, do you?
No, we don't do any of that. We just get right to work. We install those cabinets and take care of you. But, I was thinking the other day, one of the things that sets us apart is how we design our cabinets. We design with a custom cabinet in mind because that's our history, that's our experience, and that's what makes us a little different than most people. You go to Lowe's or Home Depot or some of these big box stores or some of the smaller cabinet companies, they just throw cabinets on the wall, make it work, fill up the space, but we have a custom eye in mind when we're dealing with our customers. That sets us apart.
Well, that's right. And a price point for every budget. You can help every room in the house. You know people that can help with countertops and everything that go along with the cabinets. And obviously, folks can get a hold of you and tour the incredible facility up in Hendersonville. Tell folks how best to do that, Tony.
They can go to mycabinetsolution.com, mycabinetsolution.com, go to the contact tab, fill out that quick and easy contact form, and that comes directly to me, and then I'll get right back to them as soon as possible and get them in touch with the right person.
Well, Tony is the man with the plan, and go to mycabinetsolution.com for more info. Thank you, Tony, and go see Tony today at My Cabinet Solutions.
Well, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has suspended that Milwaukee judge who allegedly tried to hide an illegal immigrant from ICE. We'll tell you about it at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And that's coming up in mere seconds on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also, right now, your opportunity to win 2 tickets to Roll Call 3.0. This is the Saturday event at Rocketown. It's a men's-only event. So if you and a buddy of yours, or you and your son, you and your father, you and your brother, you and your uncle, want to go to Rocketown, all you have to do is call Chris Weber and be the first person to identify the type of cup, coffee cup, that Dan Mandis left me.
Ooh, nice.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is tell us what type of coffee cup Dan Mandis gave to Matt Murphy, and you win 2 tickets to Roll Call 3.0 this Saturday at Rocketown, courtesy of Blaze Media, courtesy of Jason Whitlock, and courtesy of Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There you go. 615-737-9986. More of your calls coming up in a moment. It's 6 o'clock on Super Talk.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee is under a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. But if you are along and north of I-40, that is a level 2 out of 5 risk. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Well, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has suspended Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan for allegedly trying to hide an illegal immigrant charged with battery and abuse from ICE agents. Wisconsin Supreme Court said in an order, quote, "It is in the public interest for Judge Dugan to be temporarily relieved of her official duties." Harvard says it's going to make some changes after, it says, a couple of internal investigations turned up some things about anti-Semitism and anti-Arab prejudice. Harvard released the reports while fighting the Trump administration over demands to limit campus activism and the loss of $2.2 billion in federal funding. Now, these changes Harvard says it's going to make include holding professors to new standards of what Harvard calls excellence after complaints of instruction becoming too politicized and anti-Israel. Deans are also going to make sure faculty refrain from endorsing political positions. Florida is set to become the second state to ban fluoride in public water. A bill banning the use of the mineral in public water passed. Now it's just needing the governor's signature. Utah was the first state to ban fluoride. And in Pennsylvania, a Pittsburgh mortuary owner is accused of dumping thousands of people's pets' remains in a landfill. Prosecutors say there could be more than 6,500 victims. 70-year-old Patrick Roy Vereb of Vereb Funeral Home and Eternity Pet Memorial did not have to post a bond. He's free until his next scheduled court appearance on May 9th. Researchers at the Yale School of Public Health claim data shows life expectancy for women born in 2000 in some southern states has barely changed despite advancements in medicine and improvements in health care. The bottom 5 states for life expectancy among women are Kentucky, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Mississippi, and Arkansas. It increased by only 2 years in Kentucky from 74 to 76 years. Southern men showed greater improvements than women in Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and West Virginia. Life expectancy in Tennessee for men went from 63 years to 73 years. And there are only 2 women living from the 855 who served in a black female World War II unit getting the Congressional Gold Medal today. House Speaker Mike Johnson and others presenting the medal to the family of the unit commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early.
They got the job done, even in the face of inadequate supplies and even in the face of discrimination, both for within the Army and back home.
So the 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion was sent overseas in 1945 and credited with solving a growing mail crisis, clearing out a backlog of about 17 million pieces of mail in 3 months, twice as fast as was projected. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police still showing a crash in Goodlettsville, 65 northbound at Long Hollow Pike. Also in Williamson County, 65 northbound past June Lake Boulevard. In Rutherford County, police say there's a crash 24 eastbound after Old Fort Parkway. And then in Lebanon, Wilson County got a crash 840 westbound approaching Central Pike. And then 840 westbound at Horton Highway in Williamson County. That's exit 42. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. More of your telephone calls on the way in just a moment. I've got some fun stuff in the final hour. Plus, I'm watching the President of the United States. It's 8 minutes after 6 o'clock, Middle Tennessee time. Are y'all watching this? Are you seeing any of this?
Oh, yeah. Going strong.
Oh, man. He is. He just talked about paper straws, that he got rid of paper straws, and he was talking about water faucets or the shower. He said, I can't stand it. But you stand there and it's just drip, drip, drip. I can't handle it. No, we need high-pressure water. He said he saved showers and gas stoves. I guess that's correct. Give me a little, maybe 60 seconds of Trumpy Trump in our life.
Electric, that's amazing. And by the way, Elon makes a great car, but not everybody's going to want it. You know, they all say, oh, well, Trump is maybe he's under the thumb of Elon. Do you think Elon was happy about ending the all-electric mandate? I don't think he was too happy, but he's a great guy. You know, honestly, never said a thing. He says, let me just compete fairly. By the way, it's not fair what they've done to him, too. That is a disgrace. That is a disgrace. But he's a great guy, and he's really helped us. And, you know, they've saved $150 billion on waste, fraud, and abuse, Doge. So we want to thank him. He's an incredible guy. Anybody that can land a rocket ship. I saw this thing come in. I said, you got to be kidding. This rocket's coming in. You know, most of them go right into the ocean. But he lands it. I was on the phone with somebody talking, and I saw this thing coming in. It's spinning out of control, coming down. It's all burning. It's on fire. Looks like hell. I said, well, just another rocket going into the ocean. And then all of a sudden you see the fire pouring out of the engines, and it starts to slow up, slow. Then it's straight. Then it starts moving over a little bit. Then I say, oh, no, it's hitting the gantry. It's going to hit. And the engines go, straightens it out. And it gets hugged like you hug your beautiful little baby, right? And I said, like a beautiful little baby. It was Elon. And he told me, you don't have a space program if you have to drop $1 billion machine into the water every time you fly. You have to save those suckers. So he does. He's an amazing guy, and he's a great American, and he loves our country. He loves you. And he's paid a big price to help. But I have a feeling it's going to end up being good for him, actually. I really do. I established the new presidential.
All right, there's a little bit of President Donald Trump. Big rally after 100 days. For his second term in office. We'll get to Marie and Kelly in just a moment, 11 minutes after the hour on Super Talk. By the way, big winner on Nincompoops in the news. Actually, I say big winner. It was by the hair of his pizza-covered chinny chin chin. Ken Weaver has been declared the big winner. And I'm proud to note that I came in second place, not for my story about the poor fella in the air conditioner, but based on my story about Gold Star ointment.
Yep. I'm kind of surprised you didn't take it, actually.
Gold Star ointment stops itching fast. That's all I remember. I remember the commercials. My grandpa had some. It's like icy hot on steroids. And all I can tell you is that if you get any on your on your berries, on your twig and berries, just be prepared because the next 20 minutes is the ride of your life. Just it's something you'll never forget. And because it happened to me when I was 15 years old, and I've yet to forget it. Also, speaking of big winners, do we have a big winner in the for the Rocketown tickets?
We do, as a matter of fact. Yep. And before you say anything, the winner's name is Lisa, but she's got a couple of fellas that she's going to give those tickets to.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yep. Lisa, that's wonderful. So Lisa knew that the did she say Dan Mandis or did she say Bucky?
She said Bucky.
Well, that works. Right. We would have accepted either Dan Mandis or Bucky as an appropriate answer because I think that Dan Mandis kind of looks like Bucky Beaver. Marie wants to talk about Freddie O'Connell, who wants to raise our property taxes. Hey, Marie.
Yeah, hi. I agree with everything you say about Freddie. And if they're any of his followers or he's listening, Freddie, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. It is shameful. You have done nothing since you were elected in office. You are far, far liberal, been more liberal than you even let on. We cannot let this happen because one thing leads to another. We all have to meet there on Thursday, and we have to stand up against this. He has done absolutely nothing. How many assaults do we have to have downtown? How many rapes do we have to have? How many cars do we have to have stolen? How many people do we have to have dead in this city day after day after day until he wakes up, sees what's happening? He is lawless, like all these liberals. And people are losing their lives literally every day in our city over this or being carjacked. It is not safe. It is sad. And, you know, I am blessed to be up in Sumner County. We have amazing conservatism up here. We have the best schools. All of our children up here, most of them actually are conservative kids, including mine, and they have learned good values. And that's the reason people from all over the world are coming up here to Sumner County, because we don't need to raise our taxes. We are conservative values, and we save money, and we're frugal. And absolutely, Freddie O'Connell, all I can tell you is shame on you. It's shameful what you're doing. Enforce some laws and let us feel safe. And that's all I have to say.
Wonderfully said, Maria. I can hear the passion in your voice. I hope to see you Thursday morning. I'll be down there Thursday morning. I want to see what's up. I want to look at Freddie in the fade. Now, Freddie originally was slated, I thought, to stop by the studio at 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. He is now on phone, according to his executive assistant. So he is still scheduled. They reached out to me this morning and said, hey, we're still on for Thursday afternoon. And I said, yeah. And they said it needs to be by phone. I said, well, I mean, he's welcome to come into the studio. Always appreciate a studio visit. But if unable, phone will suffice, I suppose. Someone said that I said Gold Star ointment. By the way, I apologize if I said Gold Star. I meant Blue Star ointment. My bad.
Oh, Blue Star.
Blue Star ointment.
Okay.
If I said Gold Star, I'm sorry. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, and apparently I'm annoying the hell out of some of y'all. So I'm sorry, Jake. And 0245, yeah, my apologies. Blue Star ointment. Stop stitching fat. All I know, it was in a little container, and a little dab will do you. You get. I mean, it really worked for the heat rash. But when your grandpa tells you to slather it on there, you have a tendency to believe your grandpa, and you slather it on there because you want to get that heat rash down to a minimum. And trust me, after you do, it will. I mean, I can't tell you exactly what he said to me, but he was laughing, and I came out and I was like, ah, and he said, oh, I forgot to tell you not to get any on you, bleep. I was like,
Good advice.
Yeah, that's good. Blue Star ointment. Stop stitching fast. All right, Kelly and Marie, I hope to see you. It is absolutely the case that Freddie O'Connell is going to raise our property taxes in and around Davidson County. And unless folks uniformly say no, it's going to happen. Hello, Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Matt. Well, this wait has not been nearly as long as my wait on Friday.
Well, Kelly, I knew that you would be prepared to wait a certain amount of time, considering that you've had to wait for Real ID.
Oh, my goodness. 6 hours.
Oh, good Lord.
We were cheering for one another as people were finally getting to get up and go be seen. It was brutal. It was awful.
Tell me about it. Tell me the experience. So, was it positive at the end?
I mean, I got the Real ID, so at least that's done, which, praise the Lord. But I think, and the workers, like the people at the DMV, like I don't have anything negative to say. They were kind. I think just the whole overall process and the lack of overall customer service. Like, Matt, if that had been Chick-fil-A, we wouldn't have been there 6 hours.
Mm-mm.
We would have been in and out, and people would have moved on. But there's just this deal with it. It's the government attitude because it's the DMV, and it has to change. We're their customers. They need to be efficient and valuing our time. I had to take a day off work to make this happen.
Man.
And that's awful. I did send lots of emails while I was sitting in the waiting room to my state house representatives. I just started looking up people. I sent something to the governor's office. I sent to Commissioner Long. I just found all of it, and then I started sharing in the waiting room. You can email these people. We became just a family there in that Columbia DMV on Friday.
So a couple of things, Kelly, and once again, I'm so pleased that you got your Real ID. It just, I mean, it pleases me to no end, and that's a good thing. And I wish that for everyone. I have not gotten a straight answer, and thanks for the call. Keep listening, Kelly. I've not gotten a straight answer why you have to jump from marriage to marriage to marriage. For ladies out there in the audience that are, if you're planning on traveling, understand something. From what I am told by many women like Kelly, it is not a matter of having a birth certificate and having a current marriage license and you just jump it. If you've been married on a couple of occasions, you have to have divorce decrees indicating name changes and then marriage. You have to have all of the steps of the process for some reason. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why you can't go from the beginning birth certificate to the now current name on current license, current name on current Social Security card, and be done with it. But apparently you can't. Apparently you have to have every step in the process, which is infuriating a lot of females. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Matt, I've been told by a lovely caller that if you venture to Lewis County, you can kind of avoid some of that headache.
Well, hello.
Yeah.
Well, Lewis, they've got it going on over there.
Yeah. Small town. A little bit easier.
Try that in a small town. Yeah, in a good way. So Lewis County, that's a good tip. Yeah, some of these smaller communities, if you go there, I bet you would get better reception in terms of the DMV. I've long said this. For most of us, we don't experience government in a court. For most of us, the most we'll see of a court of law is paying a traffic citation, paying a ticket, challenging maybe a parking ticket or challenging a speeding ticket in a court. For the most of us, the front porch of government is the DMV. I mean, it really is. It's the front porch of government. And if the government of this country, whether it's a local municipality, a small town, a big city, a county municipality, state government, if you want to understand why people hate you so much, go to the DMV. That's their experience with government. And it sucks for the most part. I'm sorry it does, but it does. Now, I will give you credit, Tennessee. When I went to get my driver's license, when I went to get my tags for my vehicle, I will tell you the experience at the Tennessee DMV was superior to my experience with the Alabama DMV. But, I mean, you know, that's like saying, well, you didn't kick me in the nads, you kicked me in the stomach. You know what I mean? You're still kicking me. If you just give a little effort, if you're in management with the DMV, I understand you're the only place. Because here's their attitude. You know what their attitude is? I'm here till 5 o'clock, and I don't really give a damn if you're here till 5 o'clock or not. Why don't you go on down the street to the other DMV? That's their attitude. Because they know there isn't another DMV. Because every DMV operates in the same fashion. I mean, it's sad but true. And I know I'm painting with a broad brush, and if any of you work for the Department of Motor Vehicles, you're probably going, Murphy, that's not that way. Well, it is that way. It is a rare exception to this rule that you find somebody at the DMV with a smile on their face, with a winning attitude, with a willing attitude. Have you ever experienced that? Do you remember how wonderful it feels? And it's because of the juxtaposition. You've been kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked. You've been eating saltine crackers for the last 10 years and somebody offered you a Ritz. Like, ooh, Ritz. Ooh, a little peanut butter on it. Just one little smile, one little act of kindness can change attitude. It is the front porch of government, and the front porch falls apart for the most part. And frankly, this Real ID thing has been an absolute debacle. And all you had to do was force people to get it at the time that their license expired. But you chose not to do that, and now you've got what's about to come on May 7th about to happen. And it's going to be bad. 23 after the hour on Super Talk. I'm about to have a telephone number for you, gentlemen, and I encourage you to call it. It's for Tennessee Men's Clinic. If you've noticed a diminishment in your energy levels, if you have found that you don't have it like you used to have it when it comes to bedroom activity, frankly, men, you don't have to live like this. There are natural reasons why this happens, and for the most part, it involves testosterone loss. But did you know that there is an availability to get those testosterone levels back where they ought to be? The Tennessee Men's Clinic has a variety of plans and programs ready for you. Do not go online. Do not trust online websites, and do not trust online pills. Frankly, folks, a lot of times they don't work. They're too expensive. You need to trust the experts at Tennessee Men's Clinic. Tennessee Men's Clinic will sit down with you. They'll talk with you. Qualified, all urologists there at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They'll get some blood work from you, and you'll have results at the time of your initial visit. And that is speed and efficiency. And friends, they can get you back right as rain. Go to Tennessee Men's Clinic today. There are two locations. One's in Franklin, the other in Midtown. 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. There's Ken Weaver. He'll be up again in about 2 minutes or so to deliver some of the headlines. In the meantime, Donald Trump is still at it. He's 78, right? Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. I don't know how the amount of energy that the guy has is pretty incredible.
And he doesn't sleep. He sleeps like 3 hours a night or something.
No, I mean, and somebody told me that he didn't drink caffeine, and then somebody told me that I know he drinks Diet Cokes, but I thought they were caffeine-free Diet Cokes.
I think most of the time they are, yeah. I remember that as well.
I mean, so lack of caffeine, lack of sleep, and he's still, it's got to be good genes. There was this that went on moments ago at the rally. This is pretty good.
What's the problem over there? What's the problem? Is that a radical left lunatic? He's just a child. All right, get him out. Yeah.
Listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought it was a guy. Thank you.
Oopsie.
And she now has to go home to a mother who's a big Trump fan. Her mother's watching. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said he, and it's a she. I'm sorry.
He makes me laugh. He cracks me up, man. It's 6:30 on Super Talk. Hey, real quick, being told that the crash in Murfreesboro on I-24 has cleared. We had an alert listener say that they went through there a couple of minutes ago, and it is all good. So thumbs up on that. Hey, I want to talk to you for a moment about Shane Ring in Cover Nash. He's located right here in Middle Tennessee. He's not a call center. You know, don't trust these call centers, folks, because they're selling you an insurance product, okay? That means the insurance company is the customer, not you. You're the commodity, right, that they're trying to lure in for their customers, which is the insurance company. Does that make sense to everybody? With Shane Ring, you're the customer. With Shane Ring, you are the person that he's focused on to help. He uses the insurance companies at his disposal, and he has all of them at his disposal, to make sure that you have the most coverage for the least amount of money. That is his goal, period, end of the discussion. He wants to make sure you've got the coverage you need for the least amount of money possible. Shane will show you how to access in real time the costs of medical procedures or visits that you need to compare pricing and to make sure that your provider is there for you when you need them. Shane Ring is here for you with Cover Nash. I want you to go to covernash.com. That's covernash.com, or call 615-465-0023, 465-0023, and book your appointment today. Let's create a health plan that is managed by you, not by the government. And you do so by calling Shane Ring and Cover Nash. You know, the caller earlier brought up Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and I don't think I was fully aware. And I try to admit my shortcomings. They are few and far between. I mean, come on. But I don't think I was fully aware of what the caller was referencing. I thought it was Donald Trump's appearance in Warren, Michigan, and her appearance earlier in the year at the White House. But what the caller apparently was referencing is something that happened just before he went to this political rally where he still speaks. He called Gretchen Whitmer up to the stage earlier. So President, and once again, I apologize to the caller because the caller was referencing it. I'm like, is he confused or whatever? President Trump unexpectedly called her up to speak. He was addressing service members at the Selfridge Air National Guard Base, which is northeast of Detroit. And he singled out Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who is obviously a Democrat. He said, I want to thank Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You know, I'm not supposed to do that. She's a Democrat. They say, no, don't do that. Don't have her over here. I said, no, she's going to be here. She's done a very good job. And then he said, for decades, they've been trying to save this facility, including your governor, who's done a very good job. She came to see me. That's the reason she came to see me, by the way, to save Selfridge. She was very effective. He then invited Whitmer, who some are suggesting might be a candidate for president of the United States in 2028, to say a few words, leaving her, quote, visibly ill at ease.
I just saw the video clip of it. Yeah, she was not expecting to be called up to the stage. She did not know what to say.
Said, well, I had not planned to speak, but on behalf of all the military men and women who serve our country and serve so honorably on behalf of the state of Michigan, I'm really damn happy we're here to celebrate this recapitalization. So she didn't have a folder.
She didn't have a folder.
Put it over her face. Okay. Well, I guess no folder to put over her face. It's probably why Donald Trump did it. Which
I kind of thought that too. Maybe he's just saying, don't mess with me.
Well, and here's the beauty of Donald Trump. Remember when Kid Rock because Kid Rock was friends with Bill Maher, who has just absolutely lambasted Donald Trump. So Kid Rock said, you need to come and meet with Donald Trump. And Bill Maher said, oh, I'll go meet with Donald Trump, probably not thinking that Donald Trump would agree to it. And then Donald Trump did. And Donald Trump will meet with anybody about anything at any time. Donald Trump will talk to anybody. He'll go anywhere. Remember when he went to the Black Journalists Association and got roasted? But he went. He was there, willing to face the fire. That's one thing we love about him. One thing of many that we love about our man, 100 days in. Dawn is on the road with an update on Real ID, which has gotten a lot of people very upset. Dawn, I hope it's good news. Hello. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm the one that talked to you yesterday about having the wrong marriage license when I went in and spent all those hours waiting for my star. And you had asked yesterday, how do they know from marriage to marriage to marriage?
Yes.
And the answer is by the last name. So, for all you women out there that are fixing to go through a divorce, if you go back to your maiden name, they'll never know. Because your driver's license or your Social Security will match the last name. So when I went from my maiden name to my new married name, I kept my new married name. So now I had to show proof of how I went from maiden to married. When I got married a second time and I signed my marriage certificate, I signed it with that married name. So now I went from married name to married name. So I'm having to show a trail. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense.
And it truly is for our safety because, anybody, Joe Blow from Kokomo can walk in there and say, this is who I am. But you got to be able to show proof of who you are. And if these women aren't showing proof of how you got from Miller to Wilbanks, then I could be anybody saying that I'm her. Does that make sense? So it really is for our best security interest.
Well, I guess it makes sense in as much as if you have one name. I guess I don't understand necessarily, and maybe it's through the Social Security number. I don't understand how if you go from Johnson or Miller to Wilbanks, right? So you were Miller and now you're Wilbanks.
But I went from Miller to Rainey was my first married name. So when I went to get married to Wilbanks, I signed as a Rainey, not a Miller. Well, how did I go from Miller to Rainey to Wilbanks?
So they look at that marriage certificate that they ask that you bring in, and they see that as well.
I have to show proof. How did I go from Miller to Rainey? And then I had to show proof of how I went from Rainey to Wilbanks. So now with my second marriage, I never changed my name. I didn't go to DeCamp. So I went to Rainey and Rainey to Wilbanks. They don't know about the DeCamp because I never changed my name. So when I got married the third time, I signed it as Rainey. So they don't know about my marriage number 2. I don't have to show any kind of proof of that one because I never changed my name.
So is number 3 the last one, you think?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, well, no, I'll never do that again. I have learned, I love the idea of marriage, but I have learned my lesson.
Well, has everything worked out now? Have you gotten it?
No, I haven't gone back yet. I've got to wait for my day off again to go back and spend all those hours again. Because unlike the other caller, I can't afford to take the day off of work and go without pay to get a star on my driver's license.
Well,
I've got to work.
It's been brutal for some, and we've heard the stories. And you weren't the one that you weren't the story about New Mexico, were you?
I am. Yeah, I'm the daddy's girl that's got a sick daddy. Yeah. That's me. I was the one who was trying not to cry yesterday.
Well, that's what it broke my heart, and I wasn't sure if that was you or if it's somebody else, but it broke my heart yesterday. And I hate it. I just hate it. Well, look, wish your daddy the best, and I hope he does well, and I hope you get all of this settled and fixed so you can get out and see him.
Well, thank you so much. I truly appreciate your words.
All right. Well, take care, and I'm glad that you found sometimes it takes a couple of misses before you find the hit. I get that.
It's still a lot of I get what they're trying to do, I suppose, but boy, that's a lot of hoops.
I mean, but what's the goal? That's what is the benefit of this? Is what I am trying to figure out. Right? So a woman comes up, they've got their birth certificate, they've got their Social Security card, they've got photo identification with their driver's license, their current driver's license, they've got proof of residency or whatever, and you can't, and they tell you, well, I've been married twice, but this is my legal name now. It's on my license as my legal name now. Here it is. This was my birth name. This is my Social Security card. Here's my legal name now. So let's say we skip a couple of those marriages. What's the point? Even if I have legal identification that my last name is this right now, right here, right now, and I establish that visually, I don't understand how I'm exploiting the system if we skip a couple of those maiden names. I don't understand what we're protecting Americans from. Frankly, I'm getting to the point that I don't really understand the point of Real ID. I mean, are you saying driver's licenses are so easy to exploit that people are getting driver's licenses and we don't know who the hell those people are? If that's the case, then we need to inform the states that they need to do a better job. You know, this was born out of 9/11. This was a natural growth and a natural response after individuals. But those people presented their identification to get on the plane. Those people are, quote, legal on the plane. What they did was legal that eventually took down those planes and killed so many on 9/11, 2001. I appreciate all of especially the women that are going through this. I mean, thankfully for the fellas, I mean, you take your birth certificate, you take your Social Security card, the name's not changed, and there you go. But I proved I was who I said I was when I got my driver's license. I don't understand. I'm beginning to not understand Real ID at all. I mean, it was a go along to get along kind of thing, and I didn't really question it at the time. I mean, it was a natural thing for me to do when I moved to Tennessee. I had to get a new license anyway. Coming from Alabama, might as well go ahead and get the Real ID. What do you need? You need a birth certificate. You need this and that. Well, it wasn't for me much more of a hassle than just getting a drive. What can you take to get a driver's license? Don't you have to have proof of residency to get a driver's license? Don't you have to have a birth certificate or a social security card to get a driver's license? What is this doing to keep us more safe? I'm beginning to question the whole damn thing. Heather said, I thought Real ID was to prove citizenship. Is it? I mean, I suppose. Sally says there's a crash on Briley Parkway, northbound mile marker 11.6, right in front of the Opry Mills Hotel. 3 lanes are blocked. Daryl says, welcome to the dark side. Tell me what the benefit of Real ID is. I'm beginning to get really confused. I haven't questioned it to this point until now. But, I mean, you got women. I'm hearing story after story about 80-year-old women, 75, 80-year-old women who got married and divorced in the 1960s. They've got no ability to go back, but they're being told, well, then you can't fly. Grandma can't fly. What benefit does that serve? It's starting to chafe my hide. I need some Blue Star ointment. It's 10 until the top of the hour. Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and incredible comprehensive medicine right here in Franklin, Tennessee. Man, oh man, I'm excited about these folks. At Grace Point, they believe in the patient first. They don't believe in allowing the insurance company to get between you, your doctor, and they never do. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. Now, obviously, they invite you to utilize your insurance to get reimbursement, but they are a direct pay facility because they are not going to answer to the insurance companies. You are their customer. You are their client. You are the relationship that they cherish. At Grace Point, they believe vaccinations are a personal choice between you and your provider, and vaccinations are administered with preservative-free ingredients. They believe in treating the whole family. Patients are treated naturally whenever possible, which is a nice turn. Grace Point is also a military veteran-owned practice, and I absolutely love that as well. Grace Point Healthcare. I love these guys. You will too. They're located in Franklin. Call for a scheduled appointment, 599-6868. You can get in same day or next day. Grace Point Healthcare. You really can afford exceptional health care at your convenience. Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Stephen writes in and says, identity theft is rampant and can happen with every legit name you have, so the Real ID process makes sense. Well, then my question is, then why are we allowing the other IDs to continue to be used if they are fraught with peril and the possibility of abuse? Why isn't everything a Real ID? If it's so easy to abuse the system otherwise. Makes no sense to me. 3879 says, I like your show, but sometimes you act like an idiot. I'm glad it's almost 1900. Have a great evening. If you need me to explain it to you, just remember obedience with the COVID. You need to jump through this hoop. I have no idea what that means. I'm acting like an idiot because I'm questioning whether or not it is necessary for the government to make us jump through this hoop. Are you suggesting that I'm being naive? 3879? I don't understand how I'm acting like an idiot. Maybe that's because I'm an idiot. Perhaps so. Marissa's next up. Marissa might can have offer a little suggestion here. Hey, Marissa, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Hey, the difference between, I'm retired law enforcement, and the difference between a standard driver's license and the Real ID is the background investigation. There's a background check with the Real ID. A driver's license, they will have your driving record for 7 years, but they don't do a full background investigation. So the reason they have to track all of that is for aliases.
So you're saying that there is a what kind of background check?
Criminal background. So, if I've been charged with assault, that's not going to show up when I go to get a driver's license renewed. It'll show up if I have a DUI or if I have unpaid parking tickets and that sort of stuff. The driving record will show up, but they don't check your criminal background with a standard driver's license.
But how does that impact my ability to get a Real ID?
Well, your Real ID, they actually do a criminal background investigation. So if you have I'm not exactly sure what the rules are in what allows them to do a Real ID and what doesn't. But if you have if any kind of violent or assault or something could prevent you from getting a Real ID, it wouldn't keep you from getting a regular driver's license, but it could prevent you from getting the Real ID, because the only thing the Real ID is for travel.
Or entrance into a federal facility, right? So I don't think your travel can be precluded by a previous conviction of a crime, though. I'm going to look into this. Marissa, I'm sorry. This is good info. Thank you for the info. I appreciate you telling me this. I didn't realize there was a background check involved. I'll look into this a little further, and we will continue the conversation tomorrow. 3879. I hope you're happy. It's 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hug your loved ones, everybody. So long.